atmosphere really building here already. Everybody expects a great game. Why is it that the Munster Hurling Championship is so special?
You know, it's hard to put your finger on why it's sports, but like you said, there's you know, in the square in Thurles and coming up past all the pubs full and so on, there's just an atmosphere like no other game. I think it, even for atmosphere, surpasses All Ireland final day. It's really, really a special day, and the great memories hopefully for all the minors and seniors playing out here today.
Absolutely. Well, Richard, you have some great memories as well. You also had to bridge a gap. It wasn't quite 39 years, 16 years when you got your hands on the trophy in 1987. What can you remember of that?
Well, I suppose it's such a long time ago now. Yeah, I certainly have a lot of memories of it. We did a drawing game here against Ger, the lads here in Thurles, the previous Sunday. And sure, Killarney was just an incredible occasion. I know it's one of those games, I suppose, an awful lot of people said they were there, but I don't actually weren't there because couldn't get into the ground. But went to extra time. I mean, very, very high scoring, but just sheer relief when the thing was over that we actually had finally broken the hoodoo and beaten Cork.
And it was one of those real classic games. Ger, you were on the losing end, I'm afraid, that day. Does it make it any sort of consolation, the fact that it is considered one of the classics?
Not at all, Joanne, not really. When you lose, there's no consolation really. Like, you know, we were 87. You know, first year we had won in 86 and we were going back to try to retain our trophy, and I suppose looking back at it was our first year without Jimmy Barry. He had retired after 86, and you know, they were classic games, but at the end of the day, when you look back at it, you know, you'd be disappointed that you didn't win it. But I suppose having been part of the occasion and the celebrations, it's great to look back and have those memories.
But you did have lots of success, and you were captain in 1985 for 4 in a row. How special is that, and how much does it rate with all your other success?
That rates very highly, you know, to captain Cork to win any national competition, and rates very, very highly. And as the lads said, Munster final day is a very special day, fantastic occasion, great tradition, and I hope they continue it.
Well, more men trying to get their hands on the cup today. I'm going to get a quick prediction from each of you before we go. Ger?
Can I be neutral and stay on the fence, Joanne? I sit on the fence. I think I give Waterford the right chance. I think, you know, they have a great record of playing in here. They love playing in Thurles. They have a good record in recent years against Tip. You know, if you want to punt, maybe go with Waterford, but probably my heart says Tip.
Richard, one word?
Sure, it has to be Tip, for God's sake.
And Virgil?
Yeah, I think I won't go against me. I'll stick with Waterford, Joanne.
Okay, well, we have a split decision down here pitch side, and we don't have long to wait before we find out which one of them is right.
Thanks very much indeed, Joanne. Well, it's time to get a word from the rival managers ahead of the big match. Liam Sheedy is the Tipperary manager, Davy Fitzgerald, the man in charge of Waterford, and they've been talking again to Joanne Cantwell.
Well, Liam, is everybody fit and as selected?
Yeah, all looking forward to the game. You know, it's a great atmosphere here in Thurles, just after coming in here now. Great crowd here, and it's just really looking forward to the day. Preparations have gone well, and lads are matched for action. We've done a good warm-up, so all systems go.
I'm sure you're fed up of listening to people talk about how you've let big leads slip in your 2 previous games to date. But nonetheless, is it a big concern for you today?
No, to be honest with you, you know, when we've hurled very well. And yes, we've had, you know, any team that you play, when you're playing a team like the calibre of Clare and Cork, they're going to have periods of dominance. And I felt the last day the periods of dominance were less. So, as I said, Waterford will have their periods of dominance today. And at the end of the day, once we come out on top, if it's a point or two, we'll be more than happy.
Well, Davy, Stephen Malumphey was due to undergo a late fitness test today. How did that turn out?
Yeah, Stephen will be playing anyhow, so we'll see how he gets on out there. Hopefully he'll pull through okay. He's a big player for us, so we're just delighted to have him out there.
Is it a huge boost, especially considering the fact that Ken won't be out there today?
Yeah, missing Ken McGrath is massive, you know, but these boys have got to stand up and be counted, and that's what we've got to do today. I suppose a lot of people have us wrote off, but never say never.
Missing Ken, but you do have John Milan bang in form. Do you expect that there is a lot expected from him today, and also that he's likely to get some extra attention today?
Sure, listen, naturally enough, if you're a Tipperary, you'll be doing that, you know. He played well the last 2. It's very hard to expect him to do it again today, but knowing John, it won't be from the lack of trying anyhow, you know.
That's for sure. Davy, thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's what the 2 managers have to say about today's game. Tomás Mulcahy, Davy Fitz, of course, came into that Waterford job in the middle of the campaign, if you like, last year. Now, at that stage, you thought Waterford were going nowhere. Then they got to an All-Ireland final. Now they're into a Munster final. So he seems to have given them another little bit of a kick, if you like. Even though, although we've been saying earlier, you know, they are a team that have been around the road for a while.
They have been on the road for a while, I suppose, Michael, as you mentioned, but like Davy is passionate about the game. Certainly he would have brought a different dimension to their training and their technique and stuff like that below there as well. But at the end of the day, they are basically the same bunch of players, maybe 1 or 2 new guys coming in. I suppose the big talking points realistically have been kind of placing of the team and maybe not starting Dan Shanahan, and why isn't he in the frame. Some people say he's a hip injury, some people say he's not fit enough, but to me, I mean, certainly a man of his calibre should be in that Waterford team. I mean, if I had my way, he'd be starting at number 14. team from the outset today, because they will need everything against Tipperary today, you know. And you look at it on the other side, and you mentioned their All-Ireland semi-final win against Tipperary last year. We mentioned last night about Galway. I mean, that they got to really show us what they're about. It's exactly the same for Tipperary. I mean, they took an awful lot of flack last year. They were out-muscled, they were outgunned by Waterford in that All-Ireland semi-final when they thought maybe all they had to do was turn up, win the match, and they were in All-Ireland final. So there's an awful lot at stake for Tipperary here. I mean, we've seen the success of minor under 21. It's now delivery time. They've had massive preparation. Tipperary or Kilkenny in the league final, coming into Cork then in the championship. That's the best championship preparation that you can actually get for a Munster final.
Especially, I suppose, during a day like today for Tipperary. You know, the players and managers will tell you that the special celebration here doesn't matter, but it does create a buzz around the thing that you can't ignore.
Well, it creates a massive buzz, first of all, but it also creates pressure. There's pressure on Tipperary to win today. They're at home, 125th anniversary of GA, so being founded here in Thurles, so they are under pressure. Now, they're under pressure for another reason too, because take the 3 games they have so far. Started brilliantly. Against Kilkenny, ran away with the first half. Against Cork, same thing. Against Clare, same thing. And then the fade out after that. Now, the big question today is, what happens if they go behind?
Yes.
We haven't seen them yet in any game go behind in any game. And it could happen today because Waterford love this field, and Waterford will start. They'll start on fire. Waterford will be, and they love playing here.
Yeah.
They're a very fast team, and there are signs. I think the second day against Limerick, there were signs that Seamus Prendergast has come back into form. Jack Kennedy came on; he played very well. Owen Kelly had a very much better game. Now Milan had dragged them as far as that, but when a team is on the up, then you come into a Munster final. Maybe that's when you'll reach your peak. So Waterford could be towards that peak today.
Waterford play a very open kind of a game as well.
Very open.
I mean, if Tip are playing the open game that we've seen in the past, it will suit Waterford as well, sir.
Exactly.
There's the aforementioned Dan Shanahan. Just maybe a quick word about Dan, as yourself and Ger, as 2 managers, you know this situation, you know what goes on in the camp, but people outside are saying, why isn't he playing? And then if something goes wrong, they say, well, that was a stupid decision to leave him out.
He has lost a bit of form, to be fair. You couldn't pick him up form, but as the boys said there, he is a big game player. Now, he could have a big impact coming in, and I'd expect him to come on the edge of the square. Now, Waterford are trying to rebuild the team. Like, they have a few new lads coming on. The likes of Noel Connors, minor last year, stepped into cornerback. Jamie Nagle is on up to the wing forward. Richie Foley is unlucky not to go on. So they are creeping a few new lads in, because the other boys have been around a long time. But for me, Michael, if Tipperary are to be serious contenders for the All-Ireland this year, and we put Kilkenny up in the top, they have to win this game. I don't think they can come in the other way, because if you're going to be serious about beating Kilkenny, you must go in there winning all your games. And they have had nice games. They played Cork, they played a good league final, they played Cork and they played Clare. They have 2 good games under the belt. Now, the first game for Waterford against Limerick was one to forget about. They got their act together with 10 minutes to go against Limerick, but there's still question marks. And on the law of averages, you'd have to say after last year that this should be Tip's day.
But also with Dan, I'd say what Davy's thinking there is right. There's a big question mark what Malone centre forward.
Yes.
Now, if Malone goes off, and you can bring Dan on in his place, well then it negates
the crowd will
exactly. It raises the whole thing again. So it's probably a very good tactic to leave Dan off at the start, see how Malumphey gets on, because if you any doubt about a player, start him, and if he has to go off and Dan comes on, he's going to lift the whole team anyway.
Well, on the front cover, by the way, of the match programme here in Thurles today, we have 2 players, Brendan Cummins of Tipperary and this man here, John Milan of Waterford, and of course what a servant Milan has been and seems to be in particularly good form at the moment.
Absolutely, he's been their star performer in the 2 games against Limerick. I mean, he's been absolutely brilliant. I said, if you're looking for an improvement in the player over years and stuff like that, I mean, we've seen John in the corner, it's coming down and it's one-sided, it's going to the left and it's turning to one side. He's changed it, a bit of variation to his game. We've seen points being scored on the right-hand side as well, so that's important as well. But he can't do it all on his own. So, I mean, that's why I'm looking at the Dan Shannons of this world, because he's got to get more help from Jack Kennedy, the young Kennedys, or the old Kennedys of this world, Malumphey, Seamus Prendergast. He has got to get more help.
Do you think, Tomas, that the Tip will make a change in the cornerbacks today?
Well, again, I think, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Tip's pressure line has been their 2 cornerbacks. There's no doubt about it,
John Milan,
that's
right.
Not Paddy Stapleton.
Paddy Stapleton's a lovely young hurler, but O'Brien had been niggling. You know the way he'd be kind of a bit like your day cornerback also, but he'd be at that the whole time. I'd expect, with Malumphey's down above his knee, he could be moved around to it. I wouldn't be surprised if he was moved in. And as Ger says, if he's not fit enough, he'll come off. But Dan will ignite the crowd as well. It's probably the right thing to do. Chance him, and if he's good enough, he'll come to it, and if he's not, take him up. But there's a lot, when you're talking about Waterford, you're talking about a lot of ifs, whereas Tip, the if is, will they do it for 70 minutes? Now, they've done it for 45 or 50. I felt the last night against Clare that on a given, if things were right, they could have won by 35. So they were lucky to win by 2, but I just feel that they're ready to explode. And you talk about the atmosphere, it is electric around the place. It's bound to get through to players. Now, it can either make lads fly or die, and today's the day.
I mean, to be fair to Tipperary, I mean, they have played some of the best hurling. I mean, some of the
On
scores
fire, they're very good.
some of the hurling has been fantastic. The first touch, their first time ball into the forward, the crisscrossing has been absolutely brilliant. But for me, what they need is more work rate up front for the forwards when they don't have possession. They're letting the backs clear ball too easy. And I mean, in a game like today, right? I mean, you cannot afford to defenders to be hitting 60, 70 yards.
If they kept it up for 70 minutes, the way they played in the first half, they'd be unbeatable.
Absolutely.
They'd be well capable of taking on Kilkenny or anybody else. But today is the day they need to do that. They need to get away from the thing of just playing in flashes or playing in phases. They need to step up from that. As Cyril said, this is the day they have to do that in order to prove that they have the credentials to be contenders for the All-Ireland.
Another thing today as well, Michael, before we go, Owen Kelly from Tip. His back has been at him all year. He hasn't had a fantastic year, just hanging on really. He could explode today because I think he'd be getting match fit to hold him, and I don't think they'd be starting him if they thought he couldn't do it. And he's due a very, very big one. And if he plays well, Tip will win.
Okay, well now for another aspect of this afternoon's match, we're going to get some further views from the panel on particular aspects of it. Tomás McCahey here has been running the rule over the Waterford team. In particular, I think, Tomás, the influence of a couple of players like Michael Brickwatch and Noel Connors as well you've been focusing on.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned at the start of the programme, Michael. I mean, this Ken McGrath debate whether Crenna is the best at number 6 or whether he should be played centre forward, you know. And this is kind of Noel Connors we see here. He's coming in out of minor last year, and people say maybe he's slow, but like he gets back very, very well there and reads the situation. And it's going to be a huge baptism of fire, I think, for this man today as well. I mean, because you look at that Tipperary full forward line, whether he's going to pick up Lark Corbett, whether it's going to be Owen Kelly, or it's going to be Noel McGrath because of the movement.
Yeah.
But this guy has shown tremendous form, you know. And I mean, going into his first Munster final is a huge occasion. I mentioned about the centre back position. Here we circle Brick Walsh. Like, I mean, this is a tremendous catch, and he's bringing a steady presence to that centre back position. Huge in stature, you know. And again, you would probably look at Tipperary in that movement in that half forward line as well, whether Seamus Cannon will start bringing him from wing to wing, and whether he has the presence of mind to stick to that position in the central position, because I think it is actually crucial. And again, look, I mean, he's very, very mobile, good at covering in behind and stuff like that, getting back here to clear these lines. But it's a crucial area. I mean, we mentioned it last night, John Lee's performance with Galway.
Yeah.
Number 6 is the most crucial position in any game of hurling, and certainly he has the stature and ability to actually hold down a great position there.
And as well as that, Tomás, after conceding 330 that defence in the last year's All-Ireland, they had to make changes, and these are definitely two positive moves with Brickett in the back, at centre back, and Connors, who's a very strong player. He's a physically very strong player. He's very, very young. They have brought a huge improvement to that defence, and Carney going out on the wing as well.
All right, now Cyril Farrell has been taking a close look at the Tipperary team as it lines out today. In particular, it's a forward division, and Cyril, their approach to the game.
Yeah, they're very fast and very mobile. The half forward line mightn't be much in there. Like John O'Brien is good in there. You see him this one, he'll catch one here and he runs. Now look at this, fierce skill. Now he goes in and out of the game, sends it dummy here, goes straight through. Now this is as good a score as I see anywhere. When they're on fire, they're on fire. Now their half forward line, he was actually picked full forward. But again here, you're going to see the movement here. This is, look at the crossfield ball here. Now inside, John O'Brien actually calls for this ball. Now James McInerney had a great game last night, but again a little bit raw here. He's caught the wrong side. Once John catches this, he's gone in. Nothing else in mind here, only a goal, and sticks, gives Philip Brennan no chance, sticks in the back of it. Now this is Tip in full flow. Again, lovely flick ball into John. Look at this, into Lark Corbett. Goalie comes, little flick, one touch, flick back of the net. On flow like that, they're fast, they're open. But in the second half, Clare closing on. Here again, now watch this. This guy, Noel McGrath, has the touches. Now watch Rona Seamus Cannon. Again, he's an unorthodox centre forward since he tried the left right run. He goes to a little flick here, takes it up, gone. He has pace, goes across here now, bang on his left side, back of the net. Again, Philip Brennan gets no chance. And before that, Michael, in that match, he actually missed one that he went on the break.
That's right.
On the fast ball, moving back and forth, they're very good. Now Clare showed that when they marked them, man marked them and didn't let them move, most of them guys were taken off. So it depends on which Tipperary forward line turns up today, but I believe they'll be good enough to win it.
All right, sir, we have another break coming up here on the Sunday Game Live. Back after that with more on the 2009 Munster Hurling Final.
They need a lift from somewhere. Flynn goes for a goal. He's got one. Waterford have won the Munster Hurling Final for 2004.
In Thurles. Okay, right now let's join our commentary team here at Semple Stadium for this senior game this afternoon. They are Ger Canning and Michael Dignan.
Thanks very much indeed, Michael. Well, Tip have opted to start with an unchanged team following their narrow win over Clare in the semi-final 3 weeks ago. Brendan Cummins starts his 9th Munster final. Well, it's a first for cornerback Paddy Stapleton. It's also a first for halfback Patrick Marr and 18-year-old corner forward Noel McGrath. And for those of you following the numbers, 14 is the easy one today. It's the number of Owen Kelly of Tipperary, and it's also the number of Owen Kelly of Waterford. 2 changes made by Dacia selectors from the team that saw off the challenge of Limerick after a replay. Aidan Carney is recovered from a virus and plays at left half back, replacing Richie Foley, while Jack Kennedy gets the nod to start in the left corner forward position in place of Owen McGrath. Stephen Mullumphey had been something of a doubt during the week, but he does start the match. Now let's take a more detailed look at today's finalists with Michael Duignan, starting Michael with the reigning champions Tipperary and Brendan Cummins.
Brendan Cummins, one of the great goalkeepers over the last 15 years in Munster, and keeps going year on year, and expect another big game from today.
Any real doubts about the Tip full back line?
Well, I think Paddy Stapleton's his first Munster final. He's fouling a lot in the last couple of games. He's given away 4 and 5 frees in both games. Paul Curran rock solid, and Conor O'Brien again, a little bit shaky at times. So I think they'll be under a bit of pressure there today.
How about the balance at half back, Michael?
Well, I've said it earlier in the year, I think you have 3 centre-backs trying to slot into the half-back line. It's not ideal. Conor O'Mahony's still recovering from the mumps earlier in the year, and Pádraig Maher has finished the last 2 championship games at centre-back. Very, very strong hurler in the air, and looks more comfortable at centre-back.
It's the usual Tip midfield pairing.
Yeah, to bring a lot of pace to the sector. Shane McGrath had an outstanding year last year, just not playing as well this year, struggling to find his form, but very, very athletic, and under day, very good partnership.
And then what do you make of the half-forward line?
Well, as Cyril said earlier, an awful lot of pace in there. Pat Kerwick and Seamus Callan are absolutely lightning. John O'Brien brings a lot of physicality, very strong in the air, and Callan to me is one of the key players out there today.
There's certainly youth and experience, Michael, up front.
An unbelievable looking full forward line on paper. Noel McGrath has been absolutely outstanding, scored 7 points the last day, and Lara Corbett in great form. Owen Kelly, very, very serious back injury, struggling with it all year, but fantastic player for Tipperary, and maybe less pressure on him today than in other years because he hasn't been at full fitness.
OK, turning to Waterford now, and their goalkeeper, Clinton Hennessy.
Clinton Hennessy, rock solid for Waterford. Since he came into the team a number of years ago, he's brought great stability to the sector.
Noel Connors is a Munster final newcomer.
Yeah, himself and Noel McGrath, 2 young players. I think there'll be a great battle between the 2 of them today, and Owen Murphy is an outstanding, to me, a very underrated cornerback, and Declan Prendergast has settled in well. I think this year he's playing better than last year.
How about the blend in the half-back line?
Well, Tony Brown is one of the enduring great hurlers, I think, in Ireland. He's there since the early 90s. Fantastic servant to Waterford, and Brick Walsh has really shored up the centre, and Aidan Carney brings that bit of dash and youth, so nice balance, I think, in that half-back line.
Big task today for the midfield pairing. It's Moran and O'Sullivan.
Yeah, they wouldn't have a huge lot of experience. Moran plays wing back, usually centre back with his club, and Shane O'Sullivan, just maybe making his presence felt this year. So, I think they'll be under pressure with McGrath and Woodlock.
It's been mentioned earlier there were certain questions about Stephen Mullumphey.
Yeah, well, I understand he's trained away for the last 3 weeks, that he hasn't, he's no ill effects, and that injury might be blown up a little bit, and I think he'll play maybe at full forward with Seamus Prendergast at centre forward and Jack Kennedy out in the wing.
So let's have a look at the inside forward line as we have it right now.
Well, John Milan, I suppose the outstanding hurler in the championship so far this year. 6 points from play the last day, absolutely brilliant. Owen Kelly probably struggling to find the top form of last year, but still very, very dangerous. And I say Jack Kennedy, expect him in the wing with Mullumphey in there, and with Milan, Mullumphey and Kelly, that's a very potent looking full forward line as well.
OK, Waterford who won the toss, they'll play from right to left. Not long to go now, Michael, before the start of the 120th Munster Hurling final.
Well, Gerard, not long to go, but as you can see from our camera outside the ground, some people are leaving it a little bit tight to get to this match with less than 10 minutes to go to the throw-in. Perhaps it is a warm day here in Thurles. There have been showers, but the sun is shining at the moment. They perhaps got the last glass of fruit juice into them. Not sure if it was the apple variety or the pear variety today, but they're on their way. They're on their way eventually up here. Anyway, we were talking to Moss earlier on about Brick Walsh of Waterford at centre back, but the Tip centre back, of course, is also very vital to their cause.
Yeah, Conor O'Mahony, as Michael Duignan mentioned, they're kind of recovering from the mumps and kind of did take an awful lot out of him. And
yeah,
Michael mentioned, this guy is a fantastic hurler, great reader of the game, great wrist work and stuff like that. And that's what you want for your centre back, covering in behind your other 2 half backs for breaking ball, but commanding that position. And that's what you want to be able to do. Quick with the pick up, quick with the delivery and stuff like that. I mean, he sets an awful lot of things in motion for Tipperary. And I suppose Michael Duignan mentioned about kind of Pádraig Maher and Declan Fanning. They'd all love to be in the central position as well. But like Conor O'Mahony is is the kingpin there, and he deserves to be in the number 6 slot.
Ger, looking at the Tip full forward line, I mean, Owen Kelly, obviously we know, but one of the great stars of recent years of hurling. Lara Corbett, such a fast, pacey player, but Noel McGrath obviously also has a very important role to play.
Touches. He's economy of movement. He won't be running around the pitch like 30 or 40 yards. Usually he won't. But he controls tight, and he's able to score in a tight spot. Like, you know, just he's good at shooting. Reminds me of Joe Canada, much the same thing. There's anything to do. There's a bit of quality about it. Now, would you believe that some of the time they're taking off this fella? And to me, I leave him on because he's capable of scoring from corner forward, wing forward, and even been out of the game. When you look back in the game, Michael, after 20 minutes or 25, he'll have 2 or 3 points picked from play. And the last day, like when they needed a free to be taken, when Owen was gone off and the two of them had missed frees, he stepped up and took a very awkward free. He's a natural hurler, natural free taker, and he's going to be one of the future stars for Tipperary.
There's no doubt about that. Shane O'Sullivan of Waterford, Gerard?
Well, you see, Shane O'Sullivan is a name that's not too familiar. People won't be too familiar with, even though he's about 25 years of age now, I'd say, you know.
Yeah.
But in Thurles, midfield is absolutely vital. As you're a link man between the defenders and the backs. Now, he had a nightmare game against Limerick, but the last day against Limerick, he was absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
He really turned the game against Limerick, which was very, very tight, maybe only 1 or 2 points in it. So if he can produce a game like that, especially against Shane McGrath and Woodlock, you know.
I mean, he has a lot of pace, right? A lot of pace. And he's going to need that pace against Woodlock and against McGrath today.
And Moore is not really a midfielder.
Moore is physical. He's body around the place.
But he's not really a midfielder. So Shane O'Sullivan is just vital to Waterford today.
As you can see, gentlemen, they're in the parade. That means we're not too far away from the throw-in. Tomas McCahey called this one for me.
I suppose, Michael, Tip and Thurles, Munster final day, I think Tip will win this one. Yeah. I just think, I mean, they've better preparation coming into the game, the matches. They've learned more about themselves. If the forwards work as much as I say off the ball when they don't have it, and they stop those clearances, I think they'll win this game.
One vote for Tip.
Well, we will all say if they don't have this massive downer phase, Tip will win this game and win it with a bit. Even if they do, I think they'll still survive. It's a huge day for them. I think in 1984 they failed to win it. This year, 125 years, I think they'll take it today.
2 votes for Tip.
Yeah, I really believe, Michael, that if Tip are to challenge for our Ireland honours this way, I know them go in the backdoor system, but I still think if they're to really challenge this year, they have to win this game. I know Waterford want to win as well, but to me, I'd have to see Tip win it.
Well, it's unanimous in the panel, but they're not always right, you know.
Right there.
And on that note, it's back to the commentary box then for this year's Munster Hurling final. It's Ger Canning and Michael Dignan.
Let's wait and see, Michael, and that's exactly what the management teams are doing. Semple Stadium on Munster final day. It really is an unparalleled experience. It's been said many times, of course, that the town of Thurles lends itself to the unique atmosphere we have here, and I think it's fitting that the final is back in this town once again in County Tipperary, 125 years on from the founding of the GAA itself. Today's Munster final, I was mentioning, it's the 120th in all. Davy Fitz hoping that it will be his turn today to manage a team to victory. All 6 Munster counties have won the championship at one time or another. Even Kerry, their team was represented by Ballyduff way back along, and the hurlers won the Munster before the footballers won their first Munster title. Then there was Clare, Davy Fitz's team. As we look at the Kilkenny manager, Brian Cody, here as well, surveying the teams today. A curiosity in his mind to know which one of them is going to be the champions. Clare was mentioning with Pat Fowler McInerney in their ranks, great legendary name. They won their second Munster title in 1914. A team drawn from Tulla and trained by Jim O'Hare, who was the father of the legendary commentator Michael O'Hare, so long associated with this fantastic sporting occasion. Waterford, will it be their day today? In the 30s they began to make their mark here. There was 4 in a row for the Mackies and Limerick from 1933 to 1936. There were 9 championship wins for the great Christy Ring, 10 for John Doyle in Munster finals, although both men of course won 8 All-Irelands on the field of play. And more recently, what about Jimmy Barry Murphy? He won 5 in a row twice in Munster hurling finals from 1975 until 1979, and he did it again during the 1980s. He has so many great names down the years, and they just trip off the tongue really. People like Philly Grimes of Waterford, Jimmy Doyle, we saw him here today with the torch from Tipperary, the great Willie John Daly of Cork as well. So many great achievements as well, like Mick Mackey's 5 goals and 3 points in the 1936 Munster final against Tipperary. Or what about Jimmy Smith of Rouen in County Clare? He scored 6 goals and 4 points against Limerick back in 1953. And the final score in that match, by the way, in Ennis was 10 goals and 8 points to 1 goal and 1. I tell you, they don't make them like that anymore, which brings us bang up to the 2009 version. Amid fantastic atmosphere with the Artane Boynes band here. Well, the Artane band, I suppose we should more politically correct call it nowadays. Tipperary are ready, Waterford are ready, Michael Diglin's ready as well. Who do you think's going to win it?
Well, like the lads down there, I'm fancying Tipperary. I think you have the experience of Waterford, you have the individual brilliance of some of the Waterford players like Milan and Owen Kelly, the unpredictability of them, and Tipperary have more youth. They're looking to bring an awful lot of pace to the game, just fantastic work ethic, and it's going to be very, very interesting contrast.
From Borrisolee in County Tipperary singing, the Artane band playing Aron Navian, and so everything is now in readiness. John Sexton is ready to take charge, the man in the middle this afternoon, originally from Brewery in County Limerick, now living in North Cork. It's his wedding anniversary today, 18 years married to Claire, his lovely wife here enjoying the game as well. It's Waterford who won the toss. They will play from right to left in the first half, defending the goal at the town end, which means they're going to be playing against the breeze. Not a particularly significant or strong breeze, but they're going to be playing against it for the opening 35 minutes. It's Tip's 7th final in 9 years, Waterford's 5th of this decade.
Jared, and as predicted, the changes are made. Seamus Pendergast gone to centre forward, Jack Kennedy on the wing, Malumphey at full forward. That worked brilliant for them last year on Paul Curran, and you have Milan, Malumphey and Owen Kelly now. That's a lethal looking full forward line, and the same the other end, Noel McGrath, Owen Kelly and Larry Corbett.
Match underway and stalemate immediately in the middle of the park here. Waterford trying to get the first attack going. Michael Brick-Walsh then from centre half back. He's adapted really well to number 6. That's not cut out by Conor O'Brien, and it gives a chance then for John Milan to get the opening score of the match in the first couple of seconds. Inside 15 seconds, Waterford take the lead. John Milan with the first point of the game, set up by Michael Brick-Walsh, not cut out by Conor O'Brien, and then from a very, very acute angle, John Milan shows us what a terrific striker he is. He really is in quite devastating form. 10 points in the 2 matches against Limerick, the drawn and the replay game, and off to a flyer here. Aidan Carney now. Waterford trying to lay down a marker early on. That's cut out well by Pádraig Marr. The young left half back linking up here with Pat Kerwick, dodging around Carney. From 45 metres out, chance to put the teams level, and that is Kerwick's first point of the match. Really good start for the flying man from Killinall.
Yeah, and Jared, what about Pádraig Marr? Great diagonal ball. I look up and the start, Michael Walsh and Milan, the two we talked about, and John Milan's right hand side. Tomas spoke about it before the game. He's worked on that, and the confidence there that's in him, just straight over the bar. Great start.
Short puck out into the centre half back here once again to Michael Brick-Walsh, former captain. Present day captain is Stephen Malumphey. Ken McGrath had been joint captain as well, but of course injury keeping Ken out of this final. Stalemate over there. Kerwick trying to take some possession. In the end it goes back there towards Conor O'Mahony. Away down the field, Michael Brick-Walsh reaching up for it, taking it down somehow. Brilliant defending by the Brick. Nicely outside here. Fed forward by Noel Connors. Carried forward once again. Good ball in towards Owen Kelly. Kelly has it. Very dangerous moment. Oh, how did that not end up in the back of Brendan Cummins' net? That's an amazing miss.
Yeah, Jerry, just watch it. Just gets inside Paddy Stapleton, the goal side, shakes him off brilliantly, and a great shot, and just wide of the post. But you just see it with Milan and Kelly in there in the two corners, the option that they have every time out the field is just play it into one of them, and they're so dangerous.
But a very, very nervous start, Michael, by the two corner backs for Tipperary, Paddy Stapleton and Conor O'Brien.
And Brick Walsh absolutely dominating as well at centre back.
Tony Brown with the clearance, up towards John Milan again, trying to take it down to himself. The referee blows his whistle, Saw push, it's got to be a free to Waterford. Everything going well for them so far, but a point apiece on the scoreboard. Very, very bright start to this Munster final. Owen Kelly coming across to take it. The man now playing for Passage in Waterford Club Hurling. Going to take maximum care over this. I mentioned the breeze, it's a light enough breeze but blowing into his face. Just outside the 45-metre line. He's missed a goal, but he's taken the point from the free. And Owen Kelly off the mark, and Waterford back in front again. Good bright start. Well, we had a lot of rain, some heavy showers earlier on in the day, but thankfully they have eased completely. A couple of ominous clouds overhead, all right, but plenty of sunshine as well to lend to a perfect occasion here in the heart of County Tipperary. Well, that was Lark Corbett coming across. Noel McGrath hooked brilliantly. Taken out there by Owen Murphy, the Shamrocks man. Not as far as Shane O'Sullivan. Way down towards Stephen Malumphey. Little hand pass inside to Kelly. Another goal chance. And this time it's stopped superbly by Brendan Cummins. Owen Kelly must be beginning to wonder if it's his day. He's had 2 goal chances and hasn't made either of them. Seamus Callanan. Low ball inside, intelligently in towards Owen Kelly, the Tipperary man. Didn't get it, however. That's won well by Declan Prendergast. Swept away here over towards Jamie Nagle. Didn't reach it. Instead it is Porrick Marr, excelled in the league final here against Tipperary. One of those great matches we've had this year. Murphy once again here. In as far as Declan Prendergast, and the fullback with a huge clearance way down the field. Waiting for this one is Declan Fanning. Back by Shane O'Sullivan. Won here by John Milan. Popping up in the middle of the field and racing past his man, who's Conor O'Mahony. Oh, Conor O'Mahony did well, tracked him, was patient, and in the end the foul is committed and it's got to be a free into Waterford. Great play by both John Milan and Conor O'Mahony. Milan certainly had the legs on O'Mahony. Free into Waterford.
During the half-back line for Tip, we talked about maybe the 3 centre-backs that they're being dragged way out the field and they're not holding their shape at all, and Waterford are leaving acres of room inside. And I think the Waterford backs, Declan Prendergast winning the first couple of balls with Owen Kelly, Michael Walsh winning them with Seamus Callanan. They're dominating the key men and they'd be thrilled with this start.
Well, Owen Kelly's had 2 goal opportunities, but he's got a point from a free already. This from 20 metres out. Oh, it's in the back of the net! I thought only Paul Flynn did that. Owen Kelly beats Brendan Cummins. 6 minutes are gone. If at first you don't succeed, have a go. 3rd time of asking. It's 3rd time lucky for Owen Kelly of Waterford. 1-2 to a point. Waterford dominant. Tony Brown up here once again to Kelly. The angle shot here, trying to get it inside the left-hand post, didn't quite manage it, however. 2nd wide.
Well, Jerry, I think Owen Kelly showing at the start the form of last year is absolutely unbelievable, and to have the confidence after missing a couple of goal chances to go for the goal from the free, caught everyone by surprise and into the back of the net.
I really thought it was only a certain Paul Flynn who did that, playing for Waterford. Here comes Noel McGrath, just 18 years of age, linking up here with Shane McGrath, his namesake, the man from Ballinahinch. Way to the left-hand side. Lark Corbett there, very lively, trying to get away from his man, who is Tony Brown. Back out here again towards John O'Brien. And John O'Brien's shot has flashed across the face of goal, and it's gone wide. First wide of the match for Tipperary. They're trailing by a goal and 2 to a point. This is the goal again. They weren't expecting it. In past the goalkeeper, in past those on the line, and Owen Kelly's got a goal and a point. 7 minutes gone. Up towards John Milan. Certainly the terrible twosome Milan and Kelly causing problems for the Tipperary rearguard so far. Porrick Maher can't take it. Shane McGrath went low, didn't take it up however. Stalemate, referee allows it to develop. Maher takes it out, caught high. Referee tries to give an advantage, I think it then blows the whistle. Jamie Nagle caught him. Free out to Tipperary.
Yeah, just a foul there. I thought the first one was a foul, and definitely the second, but there was a lot of talk about Waterford's training during the winter, the intensity, how difficult it was, and you can see they look really fit and sharp out there today so far.
Conor O'Mahony with this free. Oh, it's a huge one. Absolute monster of a free. Drops over the bar. Terrific point there by Conor O'Mahony. It's only the second ever point he's got in Championship hurling, and the last one was in Croke Park, also against Waterford last year in the All-Ireland semi-final. Goal between them. Bright start. O'Mahony tries to get it away from centre half back for Tipperary and establish some kind of mastery there. Helped out here by Shane McGrath. Doesn't have a stick, kicks it a fair old distance down towards Lark Orbit. Tidy play here in the corner by and Noel Connors, the referee says, takes too many steps with it. So it's a free against the youngster who won All-Ireland Colleges medals with De La Salle twice in the last 3 years. Not the best of starts then for Liam Sheedy's team. This free will eventually be taken by Owen Kelly. So he just had a quick change of hurley before coming up to face up to the problems this free taking will entail. About 35 metres out from the target. Just to eat into Waterford's early lead, and the referee's telling him, hurry up. He does, and he puts it over. First point for the man from Mullinahone. So it's 1-2 to 3 points. 2 points between them. Early stages in the game. Declan Prendergast with a little bit of an injury. Gives me an opportunity just to say that the pictures today are going right around the globe. All parts of America picking it up, and I know in the Carrick Bar in the Gaelic grounds in Chicago they're watching it. So hope you enjoy it, all the lads there. This to be taken by Tipperary's very, very strong young midfielder Shane McGrath. Great cut up. John O'Brien was going towards it. It's with Seamus Callanan instead, looking to try and make an impact on this game. First 10 minutes have largely passed him by, but he's won a free in now, and there's an opportunity for Tipperary to get back to within a point. This is the challenge again. Lost his balance, lost possession. Referee awarded a free against Waterford.
Interesting there, Gerard. Declan Prendergast trying to get a bit of treatment, and the ref making him play on. That's a new directive this year with the referees, that they want to keep the game going. So unless they think a player has a serious injury, they're just getting him to get up and get on with it. And I think generally a positive thing.
And a very positive shot by Owen Kelly. So another for Owen Kelly, and the 3 frees conceded so far by Waterford have resulted in scores. 2 of them for Owen Kelly. Great catch in the middle of the park by Shane McGrath, crossing the 65-metre line. Still Shane McGrath. That is a terrific score. Kevin Moran was racing after him, couldn't catch him, aware he'd probably going to foul him.
Gerard, that's one of the scores of the year. Absolutely brilliant catch. Run up straight up the centre, never looked to shirk responsibility. Instead, what a catch in the middle of the field. And McGrath's going to be delighted. He started very well for Tipperary.
Match tied up at 1-2 to 5 points. It's back once again with James Woodlock. Hasn't really done an awful lot so far. That's as far as Michael Brick Walsh. Lovely turn. Again sending it long. The big gap between the 2 or 3 players in the inside forward line for Waterford, and the rest, the half forward line having drifted back somewhat. Now the reinforcements arrive. Jack Kennedy now playing in the half forward line. running into a stone wall there, and challenged strongly, and that's going to be a free out for Tipperary. Conor O'Mahony really feeling the effects of that. One of Tipperary's scorers already in the match. So this to be taken by Brendan Cummins. In there towards Owen Kelly. John O'Brien's there as well. Fine looking shot, that one, by Noel McGrath. Just watch it again as it was dropping down here dangerously. John O'Brien was leaving it there. Oof, that was very, very close indeed for Noel McGrath. Second wide of the match for Tipperary. Seamus Prendergast now at centre half forward, leaving it here, and Jamie Nagle comes scampering forward, looking to release the ball quickly, surrounded by two men with golden helmets, and the referee says you picked it off the ground anyway and took too many steps with it, and it's going to be a free out for Tipperary.
Yeah, he might have, but I think he was fouled before that. You know, he soloed through and Shane McGrath slapped across a couple of times. It should have been a free in.
Well, it was a combination of Shane McGrath and Pádraig Maher standing over him, refusing to give him any kind of yardage whatsoever. So Brendan Cummins once again playing against Waterford for the 10th time in the championship today. 4 victories so far. Noel McGrath looking for his first point of the afternoon and getting it. Just 18 years of age. A minor star in the past, but he's stepped up this year and stepped up quite brilliantly. Lovely turn here, got away from Owen Murphy. Neat point, and Tipperary lead in the game. First time.
He's got a great range to his hurling for such a young player, and see the last ball he doubled on it, and there again just makes it look very easy.
This is a lovely catch by Seamus Prendergast. They didn't use their possession all that terribly well, however. John Milan made a very encouraging start to the game, now looking for decent ball in there. Davy Fitzgerald, this would be a marked success for him today if he could somehow produce a winning performance from his Waterford players. Started very well, but Tipperary have edged back into the game, and in fact have gone in front in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Seamus Callanan now pressurised big time. John O'Brien blocked down there. Jack Kennedy came across him, rolled up here by Kevin Moran. Moran going forward here, needs to see an end product. That was a poor ball across, almost a thoughtless pass across towards Jamie Nagle. Getting there first was Pádraig Maher. That was careless. The pressure is back on the Waterford backs again. Noel Connors there, helped out by Michael Brick Walsh. Brick Walsh in the corner, supported here by Owen Murphy, driven a fair old distance out. Quarter of an hour gone in the Munster final. Touchdown towards Jack Kennedy once again. Playing it into space here. It's a real race for possession. It's always going to favour Paul Curran, however. Strongly built man, gets it out to his centre half back, who is Conor O'Mahony, off his left hand side. Big one way down there to Seamus Callanan, didn't reach it. Comes out instead here towards Pat Kerwick. Got the first point for Tipperary, looking for another one. It comes off the post and it's gone outside and wide. Still 6 points to a goal and 2. Tip edging it.
Yeah, I think they'll be wondering how they are, Jared. They're a point up. Waterford have had 3 goal chances to take one of them, and Tip living on crumbs, but Waterford have gone out of the game around the middle of the field. The half back line of Conor O'Mahony, Pádraig Maher really driving into the game now, and Tip will have to make the most. There's a pretty strong breeze out there as well.
And it's Tipperary coming again here. Waterford haven't scored for 10 minutes. It was the goal from Owen Kelly. That was their last score. Well, that beat everybody for pace. Liam Sheedy looking to defend the title that they won in Limerick last year against Clare, and be the first Tipperary team to win back-to-back Munster titles for 20 years. 1988 they did it in Limerick, beating Cork that year, and they beat Waterford in the 100th Munster hurling final in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in 1989. That's come back again here. Connors switching across over to the right-hand side, and this time the referee sees a foul, and Noel Connors feeling his hands. A stinging pain from the challenge. And the fans are certainly very angry about that. You'll have read in the build-up to this final, Michael, Tipperary players talking about the physicality that Waterford were perceived to have brought into the match in Croke Park last year. Oh, that's where Owen Kelly.
Oh, I think, we'll go back a little. Yeah, definitely a flick in on the hand there, and nasty enough, dislodged the ball. Once he has it in possession. Now, the referee seemed to have gone on with his business and was given the free, but he's come back here now and issued a yellow card. Maybe the linesman.
I think it's the linesman, yeah. So it's a yellow card for Owen Kelly, scorer of 2 points already in the game from frees. Doesn't get booked all that terribly often. I can't remember it anyway.
He's a physical player, but no, he doesn't.
Clinton Hennessy from Ardmore taking the free. Big long one down there towards Stephen Malumphey. Interesting where Malumphey's concerned, Michael. All the word about Malumphey being only 50-50 fit coming into this. He's not wearing a strapping or anything on the knees. Perceived to have had a knee injury, supposed to have. As you can see, he looks pretty okay.
My understanding is he missed no training over the last 3 weeks. So
the miracle of Waterford. Once again,
little bit of mind games.
Jack Kennedy coming out over the line. Tipperary's line ball.
Yeah, see Seamus Callan gone to full forward. He hasn't started well on Brick Walsh, and I just don't think Larry Corbett looks that comfortable at times at centre forward, and he's gone out there. So, and John O'Brien is not going that well up there either. So there's a few troubles around the half-forward line early in the game for Tipperary.
And Lar had started the last 2 championship matches against Cork. Here he is, and against Clare at full forward. Now rambling out there around left half forward. This one across beyond and over Noel McGrath. Kerwick picking it up here. Murphy's after him. It's Carney, in fact. Great ball over. That's superbly done. Calnan. Oh, mishit it. He's on a goal a game, remember, from his last 2 matches in the Munster Championship. Poor clearance, comes out again, and McGrath puts it straight over the bar. He's got 2.
That's a beautiful point by McGrath. But you see, here's the clearance, a bad clearance out there. McGrath just leaning backwards. He's a beautiful hurler, great balance and over the bar. But Callan again, a great chance if he stepped inside and maybe just lacking a bit of confidence today. Doesn't seem to be going as well as normal, and missed maybe what was a pretty good goal chance.
Well, that's a score that the game needed. First for some 6 minutes. It means Tipperary leading by 2. Great start for Waterford, but Tipperary have made a very, very good recovery. Making a recovery here is Aidan Carney. Forward for Jack Kennedy to race after. If he can get the measure of Conor O'Brien, his marker right now. Inside here as far as Prendergast. Seamus Prendergast looking for a score. Well, it was one that Waterford needed. They've gone a long, long while now without scoring. Third wide for them. Puck out very quickly taken. Lar Corbett taking it down to himself. Very neat play by Corbett. Well blocked. Coming across there to take the heat out of that one was Shane O'Sullivan. Good play by the Ballygunner player.
Yeah, Shane O'Sullivan making up a lot of ground there. Lar was a bit slow on the ball, but you see Brendan Cummins, the urgency in his puck outs there. To me, there's quite a good breeze out there. Tipperary are playing with it in the first half, and they're struggling to get away from this Waterford team.
That's a lovely cut in, but it's just to the left of the target. Got great elevation in it there, young Noel McGrath. Very prodigious talent. Great things expected from him. Clinton Hennessy. His team's last score, remember, was in the 6th minute of this match, and we're now in the 21st. Up towards Jack Kennedy, beaten out there by Declan Fanning. Into challenge as well went Malumphey. Here he is. It's high up into the air, but it hasn't any accuracy attached to it, and Stephen Malumphey puts the ball wide.
Yeah, it's all gone a bit flat. Brilliant start to the game. The first 8 or 9 minutes, all action, and it's just gone a bit dead now in the last 10.
Waterford came out, all guns blazing, got a great start through John Milan, got a point from Kelly, a couple of goal chances were missed, and then Kelly got a goal with his 3rd attempt from a free. Nothing since then, but maybe here, Milan, corner of the net! John Milan, bang on cue, 22 minutes are gone, and it's exactly what Waterford has required. The 12th time he scored in Championship hurling, Huge delivery in there, and they isolated John Milan. The back was in trouble. Milan's finishing was quite devastating, right into the corner, and it's 2-2 to 7 points. So Waterford back in front again by a point. Well held this time. John O'Brien striking, and John O'Brien putting it over the bar. His first, tying up the match. 8 points apiece. It's 8 points to 2-2.
Yeah, great ball by Pádraig Maher again. For such a young player, he shows great discipline. That's about 3 or 4 times he could have had a long range shot and he didn't. But here's Milan. This is what's happening to Tip full backline. They're so jittery, they're afraid, they're terrified of Milan and Owen Kelly, and they're dropping simple balls out of their hands. And Milan, a brilliant finish. He's on fire this year, and you know, if they can get enough ball in there today, he's unstoppable.
He's certainly causing problems there for Paul Curran and any of the other backs who come to meet him. That's Declan Fanning, strongly built man, all the way down in beyond Owen Kelly. Runs on here for Lar Corbett. Angling this one across. McGrath, second time of asking, takes it up. Little hand pass inside. Here's a chance. Callanan. It's another one. A goal for Tipperary. Seamus Callanan. Well, he's been scoring goals against Cork and scoring goals against Clare, and why not keep the sequence going here? The hand pass from Noel McGrath, a quite superb finish by the drum and inch player. 1-8 to 2-2. An exciting Munster hurling final. Waterford with Michael Brick Walsh getting it forward, looking for Milan inevitably. Curran goes out there to try and take it from him. The angle shot over his shoulder. It's an absolutely magnificent score. A goal and 2 for John Milan from 3 shots at the target. Oh, that's spectacular shooting. Brendan Cummins again, looking for Noel McGrath, the youngster. Owen Murphy racing after him, inside for John O'Brien. Intelligent use of possession. Big long one here, but that one from Owen Kelly rather has gone to the left, and it's gone wide. 5 wides now for Tipperary.
All of a sudden, Jared, just here's a great play by Noel McGrath, and very cool finish by Callanan. We're after been treated a couple of great scores there over the last few minutes, and you know it's hard to remember maybe a better corner forward than John Milan over the last number of years. He's absolutely phenomenal, and the scores he can get, it's just so easy. He makes it look so easy.
John O'Brien this time getting it away down inside towards Seamus Callanan, who's moved inside. Little block on that one by Declan Prendergast. 2 Waterford backs there, should have cleared it. Callanan has it, trying to burst his way through to crash his way in here. Oh, it's another one. Owen Kelly. The goals are simply raining in. A minute after Seamus Callanan's score, Tip come up with another. It should have been cleared. It's wretched defending. It was put on a tee there for Owen Kelly to blast it in. His 13th ever goal. But this was a beauty.
It was a cracker, Jared, and credit to the referee there. He could have given a free in. He let the little advantage for a minute, and Kelly, brilliant goal. And this game was really now beginning to ebb and flow. Here's Owen Kelly inside in his own.
Oh, and closed down immediately there by Paddy Stapleton. Out for a line ball. Well, it's a game which has got everything. Loads and loads of action. Goal mouth incident. 4 goals so far to enthuse about. Many talking points. Let's go down to Joanne Cantwell for some news on the sideline. Joanne.
Well, Waterford's response to going behind like that is to bring on Dan Shanahan, and it looks like he's going to come on just now for Jack Kennedy.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
Dan the man.
And I'd be amazed if there's not a switch in the Tip full backline shortly. You know, they're really under serious pressure in there. Milan and Owen Kelly causing all sorts of trouble.
Well, without Ken McGrath, you just wonder about the strength of the Waterford bench this evening. Dan Shanahan is the obvious man that you bring in, but you're bringing him in after 26-27 minutes. Owen Kelly's going to take this.
Yeah, and I think Tip have the option, maybe put Declan Fanning full back, Paul Curran in the corner, and bring on maybe Brendan Maher at wing back.
Seamus Prendergast. Waterford looking for another one across the face of goal, and it's gone wide. Oof, you need to take a breather in this match. It's Tipperary 2-8, Waterford 2-3, 5 points the margin, and Dan Shanahan, as we watch this once again in replay, as it's wide of the target, Dan Shanahan is in, and Jack Kennedy, the one who comes on. So Dan Shanahan, former hurler of the year, in for his 46th championship appearance. That's a great catch. It's Owen Kelly again. He's on fire. That's a goal and 3 points for Owen Kelly. And the lead stretches out to 6 points.
And Ger, that's a brilliant. Look at the way he shortens up the grip on the hurler. And man, been out all injured, plagued with a back injury, and we've been treated to, you know, the likes of Milan, Owen Kelly, Seamus Callan, Corbett, and Owen Kelly from Waterford. Some of the best forwards in the game, playing outstandingly well here today.
Let's just enjoy it. Fanning reaches up for it, but doesn't get there first. It's his colleague Shane McGrath who loses possession to Jamie Nagle. Fed a hit here for Stephen Malumphey, crashing in past Conor O'Mahony, who's discarded the black helmet. The referee says for holding him back, Conor, it's going to be a free in. He pleads his innocence, all in vain. And Stephen Malumphey taking it at the defence that time, drawing the foul. Point there for the taking for Waterford to try and eat into the lead and put some 5 between them. Kelly with a goal and a point. They both come from place balls, and it's going to be brought into a more central position because Shane McGrath didn't get away from the action and get 20 metres away from the free as he was supposed to.
And this man will go for it again, Ger.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, Dan Shanahan's inside there in front, shaping up to Pádraig Maher, and the referee is telling the backs, get ready. Owen Kelly, the Tipperary version's got a goal and 3. He's got a goal and a point. They're behind, as you see, by 6. He is going for it. Oh, stopped. Somehow Brendan Cummins, helped out by Conor O'Mahony. A little bit of afters then involving Owen Kelly. And it all heats up a little bit. Play down at the other end. They're having a game at one end. They're having a little bit of a row at the other.
Owen Kelly is going to be booked here. He followed through late there on Conor O'Mahony. Nothing too serious.
Well,
Conor O'Mahony is getting booked.
Referee is going to call across Conor O'Mahony anyway for starters. Well, forget about what's happening in terms of the match. It's the disciplinary side of things that we need to concern ourselves with. And Conor O'Mahony got a yellow card. Didn't see a booking for Owen Kelly. There wasn't one. The Tip version has got a yellow card earlier on, all right.
Conor O'Mahony didn't do anything when he cleared the ball, and Owen Kelly followed through on him. Little bit of afters then, and Conor O'Mahony gets booked. So.
And there's going to be a free in once again. So for the foul by Conor O'Mahony, as the referee saw it, that's what it looks like. It's going to be another free in.
We'll have to have another look at that, but to me, Conor O'Mahony just cleared the ball and Owen Kelly followed through on him, and maybe there was a slap across the arm. Owen Kelly was holding his arm. I didn't see it.
It's quite possible. 5 minutes to go to half time. Waterford are still 6 points behind, 2-9 to 2-3. Kelly, mark 2, over the bar. Goal and 2 now for Owen Kelly.
Here's Conor O'Mahony. Oh, he did.
Yeah. Referee got it absolutely right. Brendan Cummins pucking it out. Down towards the corner, and once again a wonderful catch there taken by Michael Welch. And the brick gets it up towards Malumphey. Trying to bat it down to a colleague, only as far as Pádraig Maher in the Tipperary colours. The left-hand back, racing away from Seamus Prendergast, trying to hook him. The Tipperary man did well into space, overhit it however, and an easy one for Clinton Hennessy. That's about as much as Pádraig Maher, I think, was able to do. Young player coming into play in his first Munster final, 20 years of age. Clinton Hennessy might also be an option for free taking, by the way. He got a goal against Tip in the league this year, Walsh Park. Here's Pádraig Maher. Oh, leaving it behind. Jamie Nagle's trying to pick it up. Dan Shanahan trying to get involved. Nagle once more. O'Mahony's chasing after him. It's high up into the clouds. Milan trying to reach it. Succeeds. Keeping it away from Paddy Stapleton. Now needs support. Needs options. 2 Tipperary men there to try and take it from him against Milan. And in the end, the referee decides it's a free out to Tip. I think eventually he more or less collapsed on the ball. Not a great deal he was able to do. Well, so far much to enthuse about for the very, very large crowd. Must be in excess of 45,000. Don't have the exact figure. Waterford again. Kevin Moran. Beyond John Milan, in towards Kelly, loses it, out once again very smartly, very neatly, into the middle of the park as far as John O'Brien from Toomevara. Lovely diagonal ball over. Lar Corbett having a go, and he puts it right over the bar. That's a great score by Lar. The man from Thurles getting his first point of this afternoon's Munster final, raced into the clear and struck it really sweetly. 2-10 to 2-4.
Yeah, Jared, that's one straight out of the coaching manual. If you could copy that and make lads do it every time. It's so simple when it's done properly like that.
Well, these are the experts. Kevin Moran towards John Milan again, but this time the back, who's Paddy Stapleton, got out in front of him. That's good corner-back play. No point in defending from behind. Beautifully caught again in full flight here by Brick Walsh. Missed his shot, however, because of the presence of Callanan. Good work by the youngster. Again, it's rolled up onto the stick very confidently here and hit sweetly back down by Shane McGrath. In there once more, Lar Corbett, another one for Tipperary. The goals are flying in past Clinton Hennessy, and Lar Corbett has got his in the 34th minute. It's a wonderful strike, lovely catch here, in for his 10th ever goal in the championship. What a strike, and the Waterford defence ripped apart time and again. Well, changes coming up, and Paul Curran has been taken off, and coming on Brendan Maher from Borrisoleigh.
Yeah, and strangely enough, I think Tariq Maher switched to fullback. He's been very influential on the wing. I nearly would have moved Declan Fanning back there, but Maher was fullback in the under-21 All-Ireland winning team last year, so he's plenty of experience.
It's such a strange performance in many respects by Tipperary. They can tear Waterford open, as we know. That one's gone astray, however, for Noel McGrath. But at the other end, this rather disjointed performance of a team, it results in huge gaps whenever they're put under serious pressure.
Yeah, really, the problem that Waterford have is they have their top players in the full forward, but they can't get enough ball into them. That's what happens sometimes. They maybe need Malumphey out to field further. He's moved out to the wing now with Big Dan on inside. But the tip half backline midfield, Shane McGrath in particular, and their half backline been outstanding. And Callan did great work there to track back Michael Walsh, and long ball in, and Corbett can do that all day.
And Tipper coming once again with Shane McGrath, trying to set up a 21st scoring chance in the game for Seamus Callanan. They've taken 13 so far. It's a really good chance. Noel McGrath trying to keep it alive, like Derry yesterday in the football, with Clonus. But this time it wasn't turned into the back of the net. But the pressure from Pat Kerwick there on Owen Murphy persists and continues, and the referee may well throw the ball in. Waterford have created 13 scoring chances so far, by the way, taken just 6. 2 goals and 4 for them. 1 minute of additional time now being played, and we're halfway into that already. Referee's going to throw it in on the Waterford 20-metre line. 9 points between these teams, heading towards half-time. Tipperary made a sluggish start, but they've come back very strongly over the last half an hour. But for all that, their defence causing many problems for the team management and worries for the fans, as the referee John Sexton blows for half-time. At the end of a hugely entertaining first half, there was something for everyone, but in particular for Tipperary and for Owen Kelly, who managed to get among the goals, among the 3 goal scorers for Tip, sharing them with Seamus Callanan and Lar Corbett. For Waterford, the goals were scored by John Milan, and from the free earlier on by Owen Kelly. At the break, it's Waterford who have a lot to do. They are 9 points adrift. Half-time score in this year's Munster Hurling final in Semple Stadium here. It's Tipperary leading by 3 goals and 10 to Waterford's 2 goals and 4. Michael.
Well, Ger, I think we all need a little bit of a break after that. Let's have a quick word from the panel at this stage. Ger, now before the match, we were building up this Munster final location. Now, some things can be more hype than substance. Certainly not this one. It's got it all.
No, it has everything. It has what we want. It has scores. Great forward play. Now, the difference in the teams is in the first 5 minutes, Waterford scored 1-2. Since then, in the next 31 minutes, they've scored 1-2 as well. In the meantime, Tipperary half-back line have taken over completely, and Shane McGrath. big difference, I think, between this Tip team and before is the big men. Conor O'Mahony, Shane McGrath, Canlan and Owen Kelly have really come into their own today, and they were all drew a good game, but they are dominating the game. With Pádraig Maher at wing back, and when that ball is played fast, they're playing much faster ball. They're not running as much with the ball today. They're playing much faster ball into the full forward line, and they're creating absolute havoc.
The last 10 minutes of that half, Tomás Mulcahy, Tipperary began to look like they could actually start to run Waterford ragged if Waterford not careful here.
Yeah, I mean, we've said that, Michael. They've played the best hurling all year in Munster, no doubt about that. Their diagonal play has been fantastic. Their ability to get goals has been brilliant to see as well, and we saw that in that period of time. Once Brendan Cummins got to the measurement of where he was putting the puck was. The first 3 or 4 balls he went down on top of Brick Welsh. Brick Welsh dominated the central position, but once he started putting it wide, it started breaking up, and then there was more ball going into the inside line, and they've done the damage certainly. But I mean, big problems with Tip is their full back line still. I mean, Waterford have created an awful lot of scoring chances.
Well, they have started to do something about that. Okay, we're going to take a short break here in the programme. Back with more from Cyril Farr, from Ger Loughnane and from Tomás Mulcahy right after that. Tipperary and Waterford, just confirmation of the score at half-time. Tipperary leading Waterford 3 goals and 10 points to 2 goals and 4 points. A view there of the goal scorers and the point scorers from that first half. Cyril Farrell, Ger Loughnane, Tomás Mulcahy here with me in studio. I'm sure, like the rest of us, Cyril, you've been enjoying that first half of hurling.
It's been a great game of hurling, great advertisement for forward play. Both sets of forwards are on top, but the big difference, Michael, is this. 6 Tipperary forwards have scored plus centre back and midfield, but their forwards are moving like a machine. They all can score, great combination play, and once they keep this going, they'll be very hard to beat. Now up front for Waterford, even though they start with, they've only John Mullane and Owen Kelly really. Mullane is on fire, to be fair to Owen Kelly, more or less on freeze. Owen could have got a goal or two before Tip even got anything. But as it went on, Tip got completely on top. Now the question in the Tipperary public mind of view is, are they going to drive on now? They have done this in so many games, but I believe that they will, because, like, you know, this thing is coming the whole time. We talked about Owen Kelly before the start of the game. He was due a big one. He's just come back to fitness. Conor O'Mahony's just come back to fitness. Now the Tipperary full back line is still a bit of bother, and Waterford have a breezy second half. For Waterford to come into it, they'll have to get the first point to tack on a few points if they have any chance, or otherwise Tip could roll them out of Thurles.
We've had 5 goals in that first half, Ger Loughnane. We could have had 7 or 8 the way things worked out. Now Owen Kelly, Waterford, had 2 goals in it before he actually got the one.
That's right, he had 2 goal chances even before he got the one, but the Tipperary full back line was in total disarray. Now here, this is very much reminiscent of Paul Flynn in 2004 against Cork. He's lining up, there's only a point in it. He's a nod. There's only a point, you say, he'll go for a point. Next thing, now Cummins sees it, but he hits off the ground into the net. You know, it's too late when he realised that he was going for the goal, and great shot from him because it hits the ground in front of the goalie. Once it hits the ground, it's very unpredictable how it's going to bounce, and unlucky for Cummins, it beats him and goes into the net. But I think a huge change that Tipperary have made is putting Paddy Stapleton over on Mullane. Mullane was cleaning up in the first 10 minutes, and I thought from the start, that's why I asked Tomás, who did they think would mark Mullane? I thought Stapleton was much more suitable than Conor O'Brien to mark Mullane. He's done a great job since. As Cyril says, 2 Waterford players have scored, 8 Tipperary players have scored. But we're all waiting now, lying back in the second half, waiting for the fade out. Will it come?
Well, that's remains to be seen in the second half. Ger mentioned John Mullane, a goal and 2 points. Let's have a look at his goal, Tomás, because this was indicative of some of the problems that Tip full backline was getting into.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Michael. Throughout the championship, there have been 6s or 7s, and again, it's a ball that's coming in right. And Conor O'Mahony, I think, is first out in front. He was up his hand to catch it and comes out of it. But John Mullane is very, very quick to react, and it's a great finish. I mean, he did recover back all Curran, but I mean, John Mullane was quick enough to shorten up the grip and get the strike in, and a very, very good finish. And the lads have mentioned it there. I mean, that's 1-2 from John Mullane out of the 2-4. The rest of the scores have come from frees. I mentioned at the start of the game, they won't win this Munster final with John Mullane alone. I mean, they've got to get other help from other guys around the place. And their half-forward line, if they do nothing else, if David Fitzgerald does nothing else with them for the second half, but get the ball inside as quickly as possible, because they have caused problems inside, but they are not seeing enough of that ball in that first half period.
For that much of that first half, Cyril, it looked like Tipper scored some fantastic points in play, some really, really good points. So it looked like that was going to be their method, and Waterford were going to get the few goals. And the next thing, Tip cut loose with a heap of goals. Let's have a look at the first two.
Tip all year, Michael, they play lovely crossfield ball and they have great skill. Now here, look at this ball player. This is a great ball with Alcar. He looks up. Now he flashes it across here. They have a bit to do here. Drops here. Little hand pass here inside. That's Noel McGrath back here into Cannon. Now Cannon still has a bit to do. Clips it off the ground. Won't miss from there. So look before that. But like, look at this. He had a bit to do the whole time. But it was really Larry Corbett that made it. Noel McGrath did the right thing as well. And Cannon could have a two at this stage. Now Cannon has been stripped out in the forward, but he's gone back out there again. But once Tip get in flow on this, look at this again now. Here he has a little look here. Now this ball coming in high, blocked down. Again, you'd imagine it's going to be cleared here. But here comes Cannon flying in, doesn't get a belt, goes right through and does the right thing again. Little flick across to Owen Kelly, and he won't miss from there. Bang the back net. Like for Tipperary fans, it's great to see Owen Kelly back again.
Oh, that's fantastic. But I think
Waterford should have cleared that though.
I mean, it should clear the ball and stuff like that. I mean, Waterford are under equal pressure back in that full back line as well. But I think the key for Tippers, they seem to have a license to go wherever they want in that forward line. Absolutely. I mean, we saw Noel McGrath, Noel Connors, then we saw Owen Kelly, we saw Larry Corbett. There's serious movement.
That's the whole season. They're moving their players around. 1 minute Cannon is inside full forward. The next thing you're outside in the forward. So they have Brick Welsh totally confused, knowing that Brick Welsh is the dominant character in the Waterford defence. In the Waterford defence. That dragged him out to the wing. Next thing he finds his man is inside full forward. Next thing he sees Owen Kelly's outside on him. And Tipperary have a pattern. They know where each other are, and they're able to pick out each other. So very good planning, very good planning from Sheedy. But of course, they have the wind in the first half. The wind is fairly strong here, so you know the game isn't over yet. And with Tipperary's record so far, you just never know what's going to happen.
No, it's not over. But to pick up on what Ger was saying there, the movement of that Tip forward line. You know, Larry Corbett was quiet enough for much of the first half. The next thing he gets a point. The next thing he sneaks in for a goal.
Well, you see, the thing about Larry Corbett, the more than Currick is, they have terrible pace, they have natural pace. Here's McGrath again, thundered into the game. He's got a ball here, a high ball in, directly. Now this is a ball he shouldn't catch at all, but once he does, goes into the eye of Paul Clinton Hensey and gives him no chance. You'd imagine he's not going to catch it. Like, you know, the full back did as good as he could. As most full backs might have tapped away, but it's just you think Corbett could never catch that ball. But that's what he's neat at. You see, Michael, his left hand on top protects the right hand. And once he gets that ball in the hand, he's going to glide through it. That's his trademark score.
He is the playmaker up there. I mean, if he's not scoring goals, I mean, he's after setting up one or two there. He's the man that's throwing the crossfeet balls. We saw him against Clare below in Limerick, throwing the ball across the field. He's very agile and a very good hurler.
It's the Munster Hurling final of 2009. The second half is on its way shortly. Now, by the way, after we've concluded with the Munster Hurling final, do stay with us here on the Sunday game this evening, because we follow that with the latest round of draws as we take the next step in the football and the hurling championships of 2009. Now, back here at Semple Stadium, it's half-time in the 2009 Munster Hurling final. Tip leading Waterford, of course, 3 goals and 10 points to 2 goals and 4 points before an attendance of 40,330. And just a few moments ago, in front of that crowd, we've had a parade of captains here in Thurles. Now, these are some of the men who've led out their counties over the past number of years, and indeed some of the great games and famous victories recalled as they have received the acknowledgement of the crowd. Now, elsewhere, there's been another big event today. That was the Leinster football final at Croke Park between Dublin and Kildare. Reporting on that match now, we have Marty Morrissey.
Well, here in Croke Park, we had a wonderful game of football with Dublin winning their Leinster title for the 5th year in a row. 2 goals, 33 points were scored here today, 2:29 from play. And with me here is the winning manager, Pat Gilroy. You must be delighted, not alone with the performance, but winning 5 in a row, Pat.
Yeah, it was great to win 5 in a row. You know, for us, the big thing for us is to get to an All-Ireland this year. That's what we want to get to, an All-Ireland final. This is the easiest way to do it, is to win this game. You know, we learned an awful lot from today as well. You know, we conceded too much, but we dug deep as well. So we learned a lot about our character today, and that was important.
Well, we certainly congratulate you. And they did it after Ger Brennan was sent off after 18 minutes. Dublin Leinster champions. You can see the highlights tonight on the Sunday game. Don't forget it. It's a cracker. Yeah, it's a cracker.
It is, Marty. We're having a cracker here at Semple Stadium and Thurles as well between Tip and Waterford. The Waterford team back out on the field, Cyril. They will have wind advantage in the second half. Now, I know that breeze was fairly strong in the first half. Seems to have abated just a little bit, and happily the rain has stayed away here as well. Yeah,
but for Waterford to get back into the game, Michael, actually have to win the throw-in and go on from there and tack over a few points. But looking at the breeze there, it was much the same. We watched a good minor match, and it didn't seem to affect the play that much in the minor match. Now, in all probability, Tip are going to leave. Tip are 9 points up. They're going to leave Waterford out there for a little while, and that's kind of gamemanship. This man here beside me, Ger Gerard on about there. He was, when you be always in front, you can afford to kind of lie back a little, even you're not supposed to. When you're behind, you're mad to get at it. But like, they need to get on the front foot. They need to start like the start in the first half and drive on from that. Bring down the 9 points, get a point or two, and like, no, don't go for goals there, and just tack away and bring it down to 5 or 6, and anything could happen. But what the boys are saying there, this could be Tip's day that they're going to stand up. Do they drive on from 9 points and tack on 10, 11, 12 and go on and push them out the gate?
It could be, but the way the first half has gone, Gerard, 9 points could mean nothing in this match.
Well, you see, so many goal chances have been on both sides, especially Waterford. You know, Waterford could have 2 more goals easily got in the first half now. Noel Sheedy has he has behaved really ruthlessly here. He has taken off his full back, Paul Curran. He made one mistake.
But he had to
John Mullane had to go.
Yeah.
Well, you see, he had to go, but a lot of people don't do it. He's Declan Fanning putting full back now, and Brendan Maher brought our wing back. Now, where Waterford have to get a grip is at midfield. You know, neither Kevin Moore nor Shane Sullivan have done anything at all at midfield, and they have to get somebody in at centre forward who'll at least contest the ball in the air. Prendergast has got to get out there, put up his hand, win the ball and move it in, because somebody
has to take the game by the scruff of the neck now, right?
If the ball goes into the full forward line, the Waterford full forward line are very dangerous, but they're totally and utterly starved. So that's the vital area for them in the second half.
And he mentioned a crucial line there, I think, in midfield as well for Tipperary. I mean, Woodlock and Shane McGrath, we saw great passage of play, and what I like about this midfield, anytime they get possession, the one thing that they want to do is drive forward. Drive forward. Once they get it past their man and they're soloing, they then have the option. Somebody has to come towards them and throw the ball out. And some scores, they're creating
the first half. They caught it going backwards and surged down the field. He probably got the point of the season, the scores for season as far as I'm concerned. Now he does that now and again, and then Woodlock compliments him. And like, the boys are right, like, Waterford's midfield, Moran is working hard, and like, you know, Sullivan isn't really in it. They have to get into it.
Willie Ryan is on for Owen Kelly for Tipperary, so obviously Owen's back, he's not standing up.
Owen Kelly, he's a bit, Owen Kelly's a bit lost him, especially the way he was playing. But at least Willie Ryan is a free taker anyway. At least they have a free taker there instead of him.
They're supposed to be the boys that are going to take on Kilkenny, right? Can we see now? Can they go and finish this match?
If they have a 6-point lead or whatever it is, 9-point lead now, 9-point lead at half time against Waterford, if they have any ambition to win all that, and now they have to drive on now in the second half, have none of these lull periods and finish off the game.
They have to take on Waterford in the second half of this match. Time to go back to the commentary box. Gerard Canning, Michael Dignan.
9 points between them then at the start of this second half. Willie Ryan's got into the inside forward line for Tipperary as a replacement for Owen Kelly, who clearly is injured. And that's cleared out immediately by Michael Brick Walsh for Waterford to try and launch the opening attack of the second half. Just as in the opening 35 minutes, let's see if they can get some scores. They need them badly. Owen Kelly shooting, and Owen Kelly putting it wide. Wasn't the easiest, the angle was tight enough. It's 6 wides now for Waterford. They need a really, really good start. They have something of a breeze behind them for the second 35 minutes.
Yeah, and if Seamus Prendergast gone in full forward, I suppose target man and Malumphey a bit more mobile, gone out centre forward, but they really need to get into the game now from the start. Owen Kelly from Tape, a big loss to them, and that back injury obviously still hampering them after all these months now.
Waterford winning the first puck out of the second half, a Tipperary puck out, having seen Tipperary win 18 of the first 31 in the first half, and that's stopped by Brendan Cummins from the shot there by John Mullane. Huge one back there, putting the pressure on. Aidan Carney takes it here, former left corner back, avoiding the hook, getting in the shot and putting it wide again. So 2 in a row, but not the 2 in a row that Waterford were looking for. Well, they need to get it together from somewhere here. They have a huge challenge in front of them, Waterford, if they're to get back into this game in a very, very meaningful way. It's back once again, this time with Stephen Malumphey. Another shot, third time lucky maybe, it is. Malumphey's first. Waterford's first of the second half, and their third attack. And so the lead is back down to 8 points. Can they develop and go on from there?
And Gerard, what you have to do in a situation like this is just keep plugging away, keep tapping away. Tip have come out again very flat at the start of the second half. Waterford had 4 chances to score, taking that one there now, and just need to keep going.
And this puck out won by Tipperary and James Woodlock. Back here towards Seamus Callanan. Well blocked. Still, they try to get the ball away, Waterford, out over the sideline, and the linesman on the far side of the field decides it's going to be a line ball for Waterford. The linesmen today, Anthony Stapleton from Laois, Barry Kelly from Westmeath. taken very, very shortly. And Clinton Hennessy has to scamper from his goal, and it's a complete mix-up. What a mess they've created as Lar Corbett shoots it in and puts it over the bar. Oh dear, oh dear. First point of the second half for Tipperary is something of a gift there. Complete and absolute mix-up. A line ball that should have been hit down the field. Waterford under pressure. Tip get another score. Well, that's enough for Davy Fitzgerald, I think, to tear his hair out. He could plan for everything. Back come Tipperary again. John O'Brien battling there around his own half-back line into midfield, winning a free. Can Dan Shanahan begin to make something of an impact? He's hardly touched the ball yet. Conor O'Mahony from Newport taking the free. Big one up there towards Seamus Callanan. One back again here. Callanan gets there and manages to put it just outside. So missed opportunities at both ends. Teams sharing a point apiece. That's some 8 wides now for Tipperary. Well, have they sorted out their problems in the full back line? Can Waterford get sufficient ball around the middle of the field and start to play it in as far as Kelly and Molan in particular? Malumphey certainly is rolling up his sleeves and ready for the challenge. Winning the free some 45 metres out, which is going to be taken by Owen Kelly.
Yeah, Malumphey's made a good start to the second half there. Conor O'Mahony'd want to be careful. He's on the yellow card. Maybe that's about the third free he's given away, so just on persistent fouling he could pick up another one handy enough there.
Kelly with a goal and 2 points so far. He's now got a goal and 3. First of the second half for him. Now can they start to edge their way back closer and closer to Tipperary and avoid making calamitous mistakes like the line ball a little earlier? Michael Brick-Walsh rises up for this one, but getting there first is his partner in midfield, Kevin Moran. Trying to keep it in play here. Owen Kelly unable to do so. Line ball, the outcome. Well, Waterford came out for this match, promised an awful lot, haven't delivered as much as they might. The right appetite has been shown by Tipperary as Pádraig Maher sets it forward again here. Another opportunity, and that ball was half hit. And still there's a problem, and still there's another goal. And Lar Corbett, with a second gift in the second half, has a second goal in this match.
Yeah, and just in the build-up, Seamus Callanan took a fairly bad belt to the leg there, and he's down injured. The ref having a word with Tony Brown. Disaster, another goal, and
oh, you can't legislate for this kind of nonsense where Waterford's defence is concerned. And Lar Corbett's got the goal. Tony Brown gets himself a yellow card for the foul on Seamus Callanan in the build-up to all of that. Well, it's 4-11 to 2-6, or in points 23 to 12. It's got even worse for Waterford. Well, Lar Corbett is certainly having the kind of dream afternoon. Seamus Callanan, meanwhile, down receiving some attention. Had a great season last year, candidate for Young Player of the Year. That accolade won by Joe Canning of Galway. Certainly a very, very bright young player. So Callanan limps on. Waterford's hopes are limping on as well, even in the very early stages of the second half. 7 minutes into the half. That comes straight back out again there, intended for Brendan Maher. Didn't reach him, however. Taken here, Conor O'Mahony. Once more, it's Owen Kelly. Great block down again. Whipped away by Noel McGrath for Tipperary. Still in play over there. Lar Corbett. Well, everything's going his way just now. Taking on Aidan Carney. Ball out over the line. Line ball once again to Waterford. This time I think they will try and play it down the field as far as possible.
We're going to try a quick one there.
Well, Well, the Waterford fans have been very, very good supporting their team over the years. They've got good value from their team as well. We shouldn't forget that they've been Munster champions when Justin McCarthy was coaching them 3 times during the 1990s, or during the 2000s rather. And it's been a team that's been well followed by Waterford fans everywhere and anywhere. But they're looking for something special from their team right now. John Milan delivers time and again. Look at the pace. Still going off. Looking to try and get room to swing his stick, fails to do so. In came James Woodlock, and the referee has blown his whistle. Ball handled on the ground, and it's a free into Waterford. So they get something from that marvellous run by John Milan, which didn't look like being very, very productive. Some blood on the right-hand side, just behind the ear, as you can see. If the referee sees that, he'll have to go off to get attention.
It's a huge feature of his game, He never gives up. Even last year in the All-Ireland final, when everybody around him taking a quick one.
Here's Dan over the bar. Well, he was going for a goal, but it's Dan Shanahan's first point. But while Tipperary are getting the goals, Waterford are merely able to get the points at this stage, and it's 10 points between them once again. But as you were saying, John Milan, even in the All-Ireland final, when they were hammered by Tipperary, he gave everything he possibly had.
He did.
Shane O'Sullivan back there, trying to enjoy some bit of possession out of the middle of the park. Milan again, what a player. Stapleton's after him. Milan still manages to get the shot in, and it's another one over the bar. A goal and 3 on what is a beaten docket so far. He really has got that cut there on the side of the face, and if the referee sees this, John will have to go away and get a stitch perhaps, and they'll have to bring in a player as a temporary sub. There's going to be a change now, as this is where John Milan was coming in earlier. I think there was a loose stick there which made contact with him as he was making that mazy run, and this is the change now which Waterford have made. They've made 2 changes. Owen McGrath and Richie Foley have come in, and they've come in for Kevin Moran and Jamie Nagle. So drastic changes required. Milan going off for some treatment. That won't be terribly long, you can be sure, knowing John Milan. It's a case of come here quickly. He's telling the doctor, hurry it up. And coming in as a blood substitute will be Shane Casey, number 24 in. So he's the blood sub. They've also made 2 other full substitutions as well. Tip meanwhile contemplating a change, but they are handily in the lead at this stage. Nicely taken back down again there, but Waterford couldn't build on Declan Prendergast's possession. So in a moment we're going to see Benny Dunn coming in, I think, for James Woodlock. And Benny unable to start the matches. Not in favour where the first 15's concerned. Must be frustrating for him. He's a very, very good player. Tip under pressure. Brendan Cummins once again sweeping from behind and sweeping it way back down the field again. Tony Brown going back to cover. Waterford looking for something special from somewhere. And as the panel were saying, and everybody else has been saying, they need more than John Milan delivering that something special. That's well caught. Neatly taken forward here by Seamus Callanan. Callanan again. Oh, too many steps taken. Free out. Well, he shakes his head, but the referee bang on the spot here as the ball came back into his hand. Now count them. Yep, just about 5. And there's the throw earlier on. Well, the referee deemed it to be a thrown ball. Free's very quickly taken from this latest misdemeanor anyway. Comes out here as far as Paddy Stapleton, the Borrisolee player, hoping he'll be on a Munster Championship winning team within the next half an hour. That's kicked back. Owen Kelly goes back to rescue it, but he's back 45 metres from his own goal. Who's in there at the receiving end? It's Brendan Maher right now in the white helmet, getting it out here. They struggle to get it away, and in the end it's Benny Dunn who carries it forward. His first involvement, booted forward. Stopped initially there by Noel Connors of Waterford. Helped out here. Brick Walsh unable to link up with a colleague, and the pressure is back on the Waterford backs again. Tony Brown once more. There were questions and people wondered whether he would come back for this championship season. He's there playing in the Munster final, but struggling at this stage on a team that is being beaten by Tipperary. And Pádraig Maher, superb play. Out here once again as far as Brendan Maher. Plenty of Mahers in Tipperary. There's 4 of them, I think, in the backline on the under-21 team. Up here as far as Seamus Callanan, all alone, and he can't direct it between the posts, which was the object of the exercise. So it's 4-11 to 2-8. Looks good for Tipperary. Plenty of time still to go. But Waterford really haven't made any serious progress. And they've been the architects of their own misfortune. They've given away 4 points at least from that sideline ball and the Lar Corbett's second goal as well. Not that that's going to worry Liam Sheedy too much. That was a marvellous catch there a few moments earlier.
Pádraig Maher, he's having a fantastic game there. Tipper happy enough at this stage. They're just going through the motions and they're holding that 9-point lead, and they're really Waterford going to need a goal just to maybe spark them into life. They're holding their own reasonably well in the back line again, but Tipperary just seem to have taken their foot off the pedal a little bit.
Well, there isn't the very, very complete fade out that we've seen in the matches against Cork and against Clare. The question being asked though, are Waterford under Davy Fitz up for this challenge at this particular stage in the game with nearly 49 minutes gone? Brendan Cummins pucking it out, holding on to possession here. That's a superb catch there by Benny Dunn. Looking at the target, lovely style, marvellous fluency, the same old Benny Dunn. Bring him off the bench and he'll get a score for you time and again. Another for Tipperary, and it's 4-12 to 2-8, and that is a superb point.
It is, Jordan. You need players like that to come off the bench. He came on against Cork, scored 2 brilliant points, and with his experience, you mentioned maybe the engine mightn't be there for a full 70, but what a sub to have to bring on.
Something which Waterford haven't been able to get, but John Milan is still there, this time stopped by Brendan Cummins. Cleverly back out here as far as Brendan Maher. Tip's bench much more impressive. Waterford struggling for players of the necessary quality and standard to be able to come in and make a major impact. Again, it is Pádraig Maher in this Munster final. Up as far as Benny Dunn. Great catch again by Dunn. Back to Conor O'Mahony. This time well covered over here by Owen Murphy, linking up with Clinton Hennessy. Out as far as Shane O'Sullivan, and even he can't reach it. So the pressure is back on the Waterford backline once again.
Yeah, Jordan, you were saying it there a few minutes ago. It's that type of little simple mistake, that's been littering their places to start. Overall, there's not a huge difference in it, but they've made 3 or 4 of those mistakes that have led to scores for Tipperary, and it's the big difference between them at this stage is that Tipper just playing that little bit smarter, faster hurling.
That's not a very good line ball by Shane McGrath this time. Owen McGrath now the Waterford man. Malumphey now trying to get possession, almost sitting on the ball there, and the referee is going to throw the ball in. Shane O'Sullivan ready for duty. Shane McGrath's there as well in the yellow helmet for Tipperary. Coming out here towards Declan Fanning. Interesting how Declan Fanning was an all-star fullback 2 years ago and hasn't been played fullback ever since. Barely got in the team last year. Line ball once again. Lar Corbett's got 2 goals and 2 points so far. One of those dream afternoons for a man who doesn't live terribly far away from here. So Shane O'Sullivan running on towards Milan. Hounded there once again by the cornerback, and this time Paddy Stapleton deemed to have fouled the De La Salle player. So free into Waterford. Target practice once again for Owen Kelly. Well, they need a couple of goals. Gap between the teams is alarming. It's 10 points at this stage. They'll settle for a score and a point. So 1 for his contribution.
Yeah, and John Milan scored 1-3. Stephen Malumphey and Dan Shannon 1 point each in play. That's 2 points from the rest of the team in 52 minutes of hurling. It's just not good enough at this level.
Yeah, Seamus Prendergast nothing. Malumphey's got 1 point. Jemmy Nagle's gone. Jack Kennedy's gone from the starting 15. They didn't score.
I think they bloated.
Maurice Shanahan is now going to come on, number 20. He's just 19 years of age, Dan's younger brother. And I think it may well be that John Milan needs some additional treatment, and it's probably just a temporary substitution.
He has to change the jersey.
Kept in play there initially by Pat Kerwick, Killinall player. Comes back here once more to Owen Murphy. Into the middle, but Waterford's backs are just hitting it out almost aimlessly out of defence at this stage. There isn't that much pressure on them. They look a little dispirited. They've still got time there if they're good enough to put up a challenge to Tipperary. Here's Willie Ryan, who's actually the team captain, but failed to make the starting 15. Up against a couple of Waterford backs there. Back to help out Aidan Carney, man from Tallow, sweeping it away once again, but not exactly favouring his own man, and it's won back once more by Tipperary and by Shane McGrath. Sprinting forward here, hooked well there by Seamus Prendergast, and the referee then blows his whistle as a foul on Shane McGrath. A quizzical look on the face of Seamus Prendergast. Referee noting the number of Michael Brick Walsh. Might have been a little warning there issued. It's going to be a free in any case. Well, now Owen Kelly, of course, free taker for Tipperary during the first half, went off at half time, so now that responsibility falls on the young shoulders of Noel McGrath. Got 2 points from play. He's now got a third from that free, and it's going very, very nicely for the team defending the title they won 12 months ago in the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. Now there is going to be a change, and on the Waterford side, first of all, Maurice Shanahan is on in place of Seamus Prendergast. And there, Maurice Shanahan, ready to make an immediate impact. He's a very, very bright young hurler, very talented. But Tipperary have a load of young talented players as well, brought through by Liam Sheedy and the minor teams. Remember those wonderful underage teams like Noel McGrath, for instance, played minor when he was only, I think, 15. Jimmy Doyle was out there earlier, by the way, played minor when he was only 14, back in 1954, long time ago. In the 2009 final, it's Malumphey who's racing in. Malumphey, a hand pass outside to Maurice Shanahan. They need a goal. Oh, it careers into the back there. Porrick Maher, and Maher gets it away. That's a well-judged intervention by the Thurles Sarsfields player. Back come Waterford again, and the foul there on Declan Prendergast.
Jerry, he's some player, this Porrick Maher. He just came out, he stood his ground, he was brave, and he wasn't going to move out of the way, and brilliant block. And you have to say Brick Walsh at the other end of the field for Waterford has been absolutely immense. Himself and John Milan really keeping Waterford in this game, just the two of them on their own, and as I said, Maher then on the other end of the field, brilliant for Tipperary.
Owen Kelly with the free, lobbing it in there, around the house as they say, and it comes down here to Conor O'Brien, gets it away out. Tipperary have brought in Hugh Maloney, by the way, for Pat Kerwick in the last break in play. Shane O'Sullivan has it, and the referee again decides that he's being fouled. It heats up a little bit there as he shapes up to Shane McGrath, Tipperary. But the referee has indicated a free, which Owen Kelly will willingly take. His team being beaten by 413 to 219 in points. That's 25 to 15. That's over, so the margin is down to 9 again. Something really special from somewhere is required, other than these occasional frees put over the bar by a very clever free taker. Almost in for a goal with Maurice Shanahan, denied. And now it's Waterford once again trying to win primary possession on their own half-back line. And again it is Brick Walsh, who Michael Dykeman was talking about a moment ago, having a wonderful game at number 6. It's got to be a free, and the referee is going to take the name of John O'Brien for that foul.
Yeah, I see the frustration of Tony Brown there. He wanted Owen Kelly to stay inside. He knows they need goals, and he's coming out over 100 yards to take a free.
You can understand that, I think.
You can. Tony Brown, I mentioned Brick Walsh and John Milan, but Tony Brown has more than held his own here today as well after all these years. 17, 18 years playing with Waterford.
Tony could have flicked that ball in there. Maurice Shanahan wins it. Now can they produce something from this? They can't. And it comes to Pádraig Maher. And Pádraig Maher just holds on sufficiently to deliver the clearance out over the sideline. At least it's in fact Shane McGrath who was doing that, but it takes the pressure off the Tipperary defence. Incessant pressure. And Shane McGrath has gone down on a heap immediately after he played that ball away, struggling. Along with Conor O'Mahony, he's one of those players who has suffered in the past 6 months from this virus, which has affected a lot of people, the mumps, which has been very, very debilitating. Cha Fitzpatrick had it as well.
Yeah, Rob Carney, the rugby player.
Rob Carney, indeed, yeah. Oh, Davy Fitzgerald hoping and wishing that his team can get even closer. Owen Murphy cutting it in, batted out once again. Tip's defence has largely come to terms with the challenge presented by Waterford, but Waterford still going forward, still looking for chances. Back to Dan Shanahan, and Dan Shanahan has put in wide. That's hard to believe. That was a very good chance. Well, he'd have been putting those over in his sleep a couple of years ago, and way up there to help him out was Declan Prendergast to create the chance, and that's 9 wides now for Waterford, and you can't win a Munster final with 9 wides like that. Tipperary just need to see out the next 10 minutes and they will have retained the title for the first time in 20 years. Trying to create a scoring chance themselves. Hugh Maloney in the thick of it, comes out here towards Shane O'Sullivan, picked up here by Owen Murphy. Back down into space again here, covering the space was Declan Fanning. Breaks down here for Owen McGrath. His brother Ken couldn't play because of injury. Boy, is he missed. Owen Kelly in there challenging the two Shanahans. Picking it up here and standing firm, however. That Tipperary defence out as far as Declan Fanning. Trying to get the ball away there. Well, Tip playing now as if their lives depended upon this. They want to remain as kingpins of Munster. Noel McGrath angling it across towards Seamus Callanan. A lot of work to do still out on the corner there with his marker, Aidan Carney. Still manages to get the shot away. What an absolutely brilliant shot that is by one of the game's top stars. Seamus Callanan now adding to the goal that he got after 21 minutes. That's an absolute beauty. Only 20 years of age.
Yeah, I think, Ger, we forget sometimes how young some of these guys are. You know, Noel McGrath only 18 and Callanan 20, and the pressure playing in the Munster final. Then to perform, McGrath scored 3 points. You have Callanan with 1-2, and a great ball from Noel McGrath again. That's a very mature hurlers, young Pádraig Maher fullback, only about 20-21 years of age as well. And fantastic to see them having that confidence at such a young age.
Declan Fanning, the injured player. Well, I was mentioning earlier on the fact that Tipperary have been able to produce minor teams and under 21 teams as well, and that conveyor belt now, we're just seeing their dominance in Munster time and again in recent seasons. It's all paying off, and Liam Sheedy has done an awful lot of that because he was the coach and the manager for some of those highly successful teams.
That's right, Jerry. He's a hugely passionate hurling man, and again, anybody that knows him, and he's been involved for the last 5 or 6 years with different underage teams in Tip, and he deserves, you know, the won the Munster Championship this year. Now looks like going to win 2 in a row here now today, and all the hard work is paying off.
Well, I think the message is there loud and clear. If you want to produce good senior teams at this level, you've got to put in the work. The teams that are certainly being successful. Waterford now with John Milan, New Jersey, same old style, but that's wide. It's been largely untypical. A battered and a bruised John Milan. What a 12 months he's had, losing that All-Ireland final, losing the club final as well. But if you think about it, this man has been a winner all of his career. His performances are absolutely brilliant, sometimes quite breathtaking.
He's a great character as well. You see the wry smile up to the Tip crowd to give him a bit of a G up. You know, he doesn't take it personally. He gets on with it, and you know, sometimes I'd be critical of him, and maybe unfairly at times, but he
Do you remember the time he got sent off in the 2004 final and he took his punishment? Many others didn't.
That's right, he put up his hands.
Admired for that.
Put up his hands and said, I was wrong.
McGrath helping that one in there, and that one has gone wide. And it's the substitute Hugh Maloney who had the chance. Shake of the head from him, but his team comfortably ahead. 4-14 to 2-10. Malumphy, second time of asking, decided to kick it. Shane O'Sullivan beyond Morris, but in towards Dan Shanahan, and the Shanahans have the chance, and Dan's rather half-hit, tame, feeble effort. That's not like the Dan of 2 years ago when the goals were raining in. Change times. Owen Murphy, challenged by Callanan, stands his ground. Inch perfect pass into the centre here. Richie Foley now didn't start. He'll have been disappointed by that, and that's a huge one, and it's gone over the bar. Tremendous point. Well, that's a great score from the middle of the park there by Richie Foley. Huge distance out, the UCC student. I was mentioning people in America watching this. Plenty of UCC students are over there at the present time watching in centres all around the US. Out it comes again here to Hugh Maloney. Inside towards Benny Dunn. 6 minutes still to go. Benny Dunn. Oof, not quite sure who that was intended for, but it's picked up here anyway. A little bit of work still to do for Willie Ryan. Eventually goes off the tip player. Line ball to Waterford.
Yeah, and Joe, we were talking about the minors there. Waterford great win in the minor final earlier on today. First one in many, many years.
Since Paul Flynn's time.
Since Paul Flynn's time, yeah. And, you know, De La Salle won the... we have a little invader onto the pitch here now. Lad getting his day in the sun.
Well, he's wearing a Tipperary outfit.
Must be a Tipperary streaker, is it? With the clothes on.
Let's put it this way, he's very happy, but I think the team would prefer if he just cheered from the sideline, and in about 5 minutes time he'll be able to cheer his heroes off if he wants to. Owen Kelly to take this free. 65 metres and more from the Tipperary goal, and it's over the bar. A goal and 6 for Owen Kelly, but it's another disappointing afternoon for him and for Waterford. They started so promisingly, made mistakes, critical mistakes at the beginning of the second half when there was a chance of a comeback. Waterford just weren't as focused as Tipperary. Tipperary have continued, they've got quality players in key areas, and that's going to be another free. The referee whistled as that ball was being played away, and going to have words. Declan Prendergast certainly felt that, and the player being spoken to is Hugh Maloney. He's already booked, I think, 3 of the Tipperary players. That's now a 4th. Hugh Maloney from Nina Era Oak. So it's going to be a free from where the ball lands, I imagine. That's the usual. Well, now, where did it land exactly?
We'll have to get out the measuring tape, but it was definitely a few yards inside there.
Well, Davy has told him to put it over the bar, and he's doing so, heeding the manager's advice even at this late stage. So a goal and 7 for Owen Kelly. In points it's 26-19 now. 7 points between them. Do you still believe in miracles? 66 minutes gone.
Well, Hurling, Davy is dead right. Keep taking your points, you never know. You keep tapping them over. We had a famous day ourselves in 94 when we got a couple of late goals.
Certainly did. Some performance in 94. Brick Walsh nicely forward here. It's Declan Prendergast who's abandoned full-back and decides to heck with it. Off we go, looking for scores. Up there to support the number 31, John Milan. And that looks like another one for John Milan. Keep on believing. He's got a goal and 4. And they've eaten into the lead, and it's now back to 6 points. What a pity they made those mistakes, those blunders at the beginning of the second half. because they gave themselves an absolute millstone.
Still, Gerard, a goal now in the next minute or two would set us up for a fair finish. And Declan Prendergast, you mentioned there, he's come out wing back in the second half, had a stormer, and between Tony Brown, Brick Walsh and himself have driven Waterford back into this game.
Well, they're playing with just two men basically in the full back line. They might pay for that because Benny Dunn has thrown it forward here intended for one of his colleagues, but it's Tony Brown who gets in the way, former hurler of the year. Back out here as far as Shane O'Sullivan. Waterford fans saying just give it into the inside forward line. Let's see what they can do. Here's Kelly, rolled in towards McGrath. Challenge coming in there from Conor O'Mahony. Still McGrath, they look for another score, half blocked down. This time taken by Brendan Maher. We're getting all the drama now in the last 5 minutes here. Tipperary hold on to it. Launch another attack up towards Noel McGrath. Noel McGrath trying to advance here. A couple of Waterford backs are back there. And the ever youthful Tony Brown is shouldered out over the end line with the ball. It's gone for a 65. One way of taking the pressure off your defence for Tipperary. So a first 65 then. Tipperary make a change. Micheál Webster is in, and player going off is John O'Brien. That's all 5 subs now used by the team management. Getting a bit nervous and a bit edgy now for Liam Sheedy. Are they the second best team in the country after the champions Kilkenny? One of the questions you might like to consider. Noel McGrath ready to take it. 3 points so far, just one in the second half from a free, and this one's come off the post and it's gone wide. And the margin is 6 points still. As you see, we're in the 70th minute now just. Is there maybe 2 minutes to be added on? Could we have about 3 minutes in all? There is. So 3 minutes in all still to be played of the 120th Munster Hurling final. It's tips to lose at this stage, you would imagine. Some of the fans have decided to head away. I'm sure they're from Waterford. Disappointed. Meanwhile, back here in the stadium, it's going to be a line ball which Noel McGrath is in no great rush to take. Looking to win his first Munster Hurling Championship medal. It's a huge one. Inside towards Micheál Webster. Aidan Carney trying to dispossess him. Waterford just need the ball. Webster was holding onto the hurley. Free out to Waterford. Clinton Hennessy's in a hurry as well, wants to take this free. They got to get a goal quickly and then hope and pray that there's sufficient time as we're into stoppage time now. 2 minutes to be played. Hennessy to belt it forward. Rain pours down. Ball coming down on top of the Tipperary half-backs. Reaching for it there is Stephen Malumphy. Having a go himself, looking for a point. He's got a point, and it's now down to 5 points. Malumphy's second.
Yeah, Jerry, I think you have to give huge credit to Waterford. You know, they were 10 or 11 points down, 9 points down for all the second half, and they never gave up, kept plugging away, and they've really dominated the last 15 minutes of the game.
Well, I think I was asking earlier on how they're the resolve and the character to get themselves back into it. The answer has been a very positive yes, as you suggest. And it's back in there again towards Dan Shanahan. Kelly feeding it out here to Milan. Awkward angle, run away from him. Stapleton try to close him down for Tipperary. Still in the first minute of stoppage time. They need a goal here somewhere. And John Milan lets fly and puts it over the bar. So the lead continues to be eaten into, but the seconds have ticked away, and we now have only about 60 seconds left. Milan's got a goal in 5. Great performance by John. 4 points the margin.
Yeah, and there's no doubt in my mind the lads will be making a decision tonight, but that John Milan, regardless of the result, is the best player in the field today by a mile. Absolutely outstanding.
I'm not sure it constitutes a fade out by Tipperary, but the Waterford team have now got 6 unanswered points, and they're looking for possession again, but the clock is against them.
Yeah, and
all
the hard training Waterford did, you know, reputedly never trained as hard as they did this year, and Davy is going to take a bit out of this. You know that they've finished the game very strongly, get maybe Ken McGrath and Gary Horney, a few lads back the next day or in later on in the qualifiers, and take it from there.
Is there another score there for the taking? 10 seconds left of the 2 minutes of added time. Tipperary looking poised and ready to lift the Munster Cup once again. They want the ball down there with Micheál Webster, didn't get to it. Instead it is carried off in there by Willie Ryan into the corner. One back again here by Noel Connors. 2 minutes has now been played. All eyes on the referee. The amateur whistlers from Tipperary encouraging him to blow. John Sexton looks at his watch. Out come Tipperary once again. The referee says still play away, there's still time. Lark Corbett, 2 goals and 2 points in this Munster final. Out here towards Benny Dunn. That to seal a victory, maybe he's put it wide. It might be as good as a point. Clinton Hennessy pucking it out. The whistles become even louder, and this time the one that matters most from the team official, or the match official referee, blows the whistle. Tipperary celebrate, and Tipperary have retained the Munster Hurling Championship title. The Munster Cup stays in the Premier County, and that's the first time it's happened in 20 years. It's some achievement by Tipperary. It's Waterford who started the better team in this match. Tip came back strongly, dominated many of the exchanges in the first half. Waterford made untypical mistakes at the beginning of the second and yielded scores to Tipperary. Tip came strong again, but there was a great finish by Waterford. Overall, a rip-roaring contest. At the end, just 4 points between the teams. Michael, what did you make of it all?
Yeah, I think you summed it up there, Ger. Fantastic. Tipperary really won it in that 15-minute spell in the first half. Before half-time, they dominated, got a couple of goals, and they'll be happy. Owen Kelly's injury, I think, is a big concern. I can't see them winning Ireland without Owen Kelly at full pelt, but they've won 2 Munster championships in a row. That's all they can do. And Waterford, in fairness, delighted with the way they finished. They'll be very disappointed overall, but Brick Walsh and John Milan gave 2 unbelievable displays out there for them, and they're into an All-Ireland quarter-final, and they're still probably in the top 3 or 4 teams in the country, themselves and Tip, and Galway or Cork next weekend, another big match to look forward to. I think it'll be between those and Kilkenny then for the All-Ireland this year.
Well, Tipperary took the lead for the first time in the 14th minute. They created 30 scoring chances against 33 for Waterford, and at the end it is Tipperary who have held on to their title in their own Semple Stadium. Tipperary 4 goals and 14 points. Waterford 2 goals and 16. Back to Michael.
Ger Canning, Michael Duignan, thank you very much indeed. Back here in our studio at Semple Stadium, we have Cyril Farrell, we have Ger Loughnane, we have Tomás Mulcahy. Let's get their views on it. I suppose the first half, Cyril was of such a pace and such great hurling. It was never going to quite keep up to that, but it went a bit flat in the end.
It went a bit flat about 10 or 15 minutes second half, even 20, but then Waterford finished very strong. And again, maybe there's a little slight question mark over Tip, but they did what they had to do. Scored 3-10 at half time, they wound up at 4-40. That's only 1-4 the second half, whereas Waterford scored about 12 points the second half. Now, Waterford they'll be very disappointed. They missed a few scores at the start of the second half that brought them back into the game, but it was a game 9 points out at half time that you could never see Tip really losing. They got enough scores to win, and they were always able to tack on a score or two. But again, Tip will be very happy. They've gone straight into an All-Ireland semi-final. Even though Waterford will be down and out, they'll regroup, and it'll still be hard enough to beat in any quarter-final for whoever gets into them.
I suppose when Waterford were 10 points down, it was really going to be a very uphill struggle after that. And you could actually see why Tip went off the boil, I suppose, Ger.
Well, I still don't accept that, Michael. I think that there is a flaw in this Tipperary team, and I think it's a fatal flaw for this year, that they will not win an All-Ireland with the way they're playing this year. This big burst in the first half and the whole fade out in the second half, and you cannot gloss over that they got a goal which is a complete fluke, which is a total mess up between the goalie and your man taking the line ball. Then he scored 4 points outside of that. Waterford scored 12. Brick Welsh took over completely. The Waterford half-back line completely cleaned out the Tipperary half-forward line. Once again, like Kilkenny did, like Cork did, like Clare did. Now, they're riding their luck, and they just, the luck is going to run out. You can't keep playing for one half and try and win an All-Ireland. That will not happen.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this isn't as if Tipperary have 5 All-Ireland medals in their back pocket, I was very disappointed with Tip in the second half, being honest with you. To score 1-4, Jordan mentioned it, they got 2 presents. I mean, 2 presents. The goal that Glark got was a mistake, and the sideline ball that came was a mistake as well. Waterford had 4 wides at the start of the second half period. If they should settle themselves a small bit, got themselves back into the game, they would have put on a burst. But there is no ruthlessness in this Tipperary team at the moment.
No leadership.
They're lacking that big time. I mean, 10 points up at half time. I expected them to go now and show us that they are real contenders. Maybe Liam Sheedy would be happy to say, but they're probably keeping lucky.
They've retained their Munster title. They must be doing something right around here.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
He's a fan.
Listen to me. They've retained the Munster title. They won the league last year. They got into the league final this year, a great game. Now, to be fair play to Waterford, beat Leicester in the semi-final. This Tip team is still progressing. Now they've got in the way they wanted again. They're back into the All-Ireland semi-final again. Outside of Kilkenny, they're the most consistent team in it. Now I agree with what the lads are saying, but it's very hard to stay on top for 70 minutes. Now they'll have to have a bit of faith in the lads that they have on.
I think that's you hit the nail on the head. You have to have a bit of a faith, right? He makes an awful lot of changes. If they're mind critical of the he makes an awful lot of changes, particularly up front. They're the guys that are paying the price, realistically, you know.
Pádraig Mann went back full back. He had a whale of a game in it. Conor Mahoney started to come into his own centre back. McGrath centre field were better this year. They're starting to come into it. They could actually go on to win the All-Ireland.
Going to hold you there for a second, lads, because the presentation is being made here at Semple Stadium in Thurles to Tipperary, who are still the Munster hurling champions.
Tipperary win the title for the 38th time, and it's Willie Ryan who lifts the cup.
Yeah, Willie Ryan, number 28 in his jersey, of course, who has won the cup, and it looks like Willie's going to say a few words at this stage, so we'll stay with him.
The current Shogglaka, Earthburn, Tiverton! It gives me great pleasure to stand up here on behalf of the best 35 players in Tipperary. They're a solid credit to themselves, to their families. The effort that they have put in over the last 6 months, it's no surprise that we're standing up here as Munster champions. Some people are saying they should do away with the Munster Championship. Say that Tip people aren't great followers. Out there you show what followers you are behind the team. To Waterford, they're part of a great final. They mightn't want to hear it, but it was a great sporting game. And I think it just shows how important the Munster Championship is to hurling. I think it's the heart and soul of hurling. There's just a few formalities. Firstly, I'd like to thank all the backroom staff and the Tipperary team. In Cian O'Neill, we have a fantastic trainer who has prepared us over the last 18 months to the fitness levels that we have today. To Hot Pint and John Casey and Mick Clohessy, two physios and gear man. Hot Pint is a credit to Tipperary. Without him, we wouldn't be standing here today. To the people of Tipperary, we're in an All-Ireland semi-final for the 2nd year in a row. You can do your part. We're out in an All-Ireland semi-final for the next 5 weeks. I want to see every house, pub and shop in the county coloured with blue and gold. To Caroline, our sports performance person, she's a great person to talk to, and she has us in prime condition for today. To our doctors, Kevin Delargy and Peter Merchant, thanks a million. And finally, to the 3 men that stand on the sideline, Eamon O'Shea, Michael Ryan, and the great Liam Sheedy. Those men don't get half enough credit for the amount of work that they do to have us in order for a day like today. And fair play to them, and they're going to take us further, and they want the people of Tip to get behind us as well. And finally, to Waterford, I'd like to thank you for a great sporting game, but without you and us, there would be no Munster Championship. And that's why the GAA has been formed for the last 125 years. In '84 we came up short, but today we made no mistake about it. And without the players, there would be no GAA. And finally, 3 cheers to Waterford. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Come on, Tip!
So Willie Ryan then representing the Tumavara club. He is of course the panel captain, and he mentioned there actually, Ger, interestingly, '84, which is of course the centenary of the GAA. The All-Ireland finalist, Tomas remembers very well, played here
and
at
the Munster final.
As Willie said, I don't know if he was around at that stage, but they came up short on that occasion, and obviously that was part of their build-up to this.
Listen, Michael, we don't want to sound begrudging to Tipperary, or to Noel Sheedy especially, who has done a fantastic job with this team, with a limited team. He has got the absolute most out of them. They're very, very skillful. They have great movement. They are a bit young, I suppose. They are a bit young, but they lack the ruthlessness. They lack the leadership, and they lack a big man at centre forward who'll grasp the game by the scruff of the neck when things are going against them. When things start to go against them, nobody stands up there and says, and I'm going to take this game by the scruff of the neck. They're lacking at least 2 players like that, especially in the half-hour line.
I mean, I just put myself in this situation, right? I mean, that we look at Kilkenny and we say, Kilkenny are up there and they're the benchmark, right? So who's going to challenge Kilkenny? And that's the reason I'm disappointed with Tipperary.
Not because
of their performance.
They're good enough, but not good enough to go the rest of the way.
But in the second half period, if Kilkenny were 10 points ahead, what would they do? They'd push on to go 16 to 20. They would bury teams. That's all I'm looking at from Tipperary.
Kilkenny wouldn't fade like that.
No, but you're talking about Kilkenny. Tip are the team that will challenge Kilkenny. And I'll guarantee you one thing. If Tipperary happen to get into a final against Kilkenny, they're the one team in the country where, regardless how they're playing, their tradition alone will rise them. That tip, okay, they might lack a few leaders on the pitch, but that has to come. They're young. They're not. You can't keep saying that they're bad and they're winning every game.
There's nobody said they were bad. Nobody said they were bad. We're looking for this ruthless streak to finish a game. They ended up with winning the match by 4 points or 4 points.
That's giving no credit to Waterford.
Yeah.
Like, lads, look, there's 2 teams there. Waterford are bound to come back. If Waterford got the first few scores in the second half, it could be a completely different game. And then you'd be talking, if Waterford were talking a different way.
They should have won the game completely.
Yeah, but they were down 9 points at half-time.
But Sal, I just want to pick up one point there, Sal. If they get into an All-Ireland final against Kilkenny, they're the one team to put up with Kilkenny. They are the one team that Kilkenny wants to meet in the All-Ireland. Because Kilkenny haven't beaten Tipperary in the All-Ireland. And that is the thing that would really drive Kilkenny on. And in that kind of display today, in that kind of a fade-out today, they would have no hope of beating Kilkenny. Yeah, but they have 5 weeks to the semi-final, and if they win that, they have another 5 weeks.
You're talking there as if there's no opposition.
To develop
hold on a while.
You can't have. You have to have 2 teams.
No, we had 2 teams. Waterford were a one-man show up front. John Milan, he got 1-5.
What did Kilkenny do to Waterford last year when they got ahead of them? They bloody well ate them out of the field.
Waterford were a one-man show up front. One Kelly got 1-7 all for free.
They did in the second half. They were 10 points down and they won the game.
Yeah, but
they blew them out.
Fine, but someone has to come to challenge. What I'm saying is Tipperary are as good as anyone else to challenge Kilkenny. And if they keep winning matches, lads, you can't keep saying that they haven't lead.
Is it not a case that Kilkenny are so good at the moment that if you're looking for somebody to challenge Kilkenny, you'd be looking around you for a fair while?
But the point is, Michael, if you build Kilkenny up to 20, and I have great respect for them, if you put them 20 foot up there that they can't be unbeatable, you have no one challenge them. I'm telling you, in the league final, if you talk to Kilkenny people, they would admit Tip had a cut at them. No, they didn't win it.
We're not talking about the league final. We're talking about today. We're talking about a team that was 10 points up at half time. They didn't push on to close out the game. And we've seen it in their last 4 performances. And that's all I'm saying.
Without aggressive half-forward line against Kilkenny, you haven't got a hope. And they haven't got an aggressive half-forward line. Kerry taken off today. O'Brien taken off.
Kilkenny had backline they played the last time in the league final. The centre back, if I remember correctly, Hogan was taken off. He broke a collarbone.
He had to go off.
But you were saying there's no aggression there. Where did that come from? It didn't come from sailing up and down. He got a good hard tackle.
Were you impressed with Tipperary in the second half today?
His man was taken off afterwards.
You can't disregard the opposition. I'm telling you.
We're not talking about Kilkenny matches, or we're not talking about league finals. We're talking about Munster Championship.
You should be judging Tip on what they're doing.
In the second half.
Well, we'd like to,
Going back to the point.
We'd like to.
10 points up in the match. If you're 10 points up, look at lads, you've all been there. You've played in matches, you've been 10 points up.
We have seen. But we have seen Kilkenny 10 points up. You're judging. If you want to win in All Ireland, you're judging on the best team that's there. The best team that's there is Kilkenny. If Kilkenny are 10 points ahead of you, what do? They want to go another 10 or maybe 15 ahead.
Oh yeah, that's what.
Ruthlessness. You have to have ruthless men and a ruthless team to win in All Ireland. This Tipperary team, their ambition is to win in All Ireland, and we're just pointing out they've done great to win Munster. They've done great. Their record over the last 2 years is very, very good, apart from semi-final last year. But if they want to go that extra rung to be up on the same level as Kilkenny, they have to get more aggressive and more ruthless, especially in the half-hour line, and win ball.
It's not major, Mike. It's only a small little thing, right? Just a small thing. And then like Cyril was getting very excited about it. A killer instinct. When you're in that position, you should not allow Waterford back into the game. That's all I'm saying.
Lads,
Killer instinct.
Hurling games, lads,
Finish
look,
the game.
The level flow. You know, look, it's very hard.
You saw Clare last night. Clare did the very same thing to Tipperary as Waterford did today, and you saw
Clare were
last
flat,
night.
like a Muslim
What we're going to do is we're going to get out the stools, put you in your corners, get out the sponge, give you a minute, seconds out. We're going to take a short break here on the Sunday game.
Who won the Munster final, by the way? Was it Tip or was it Kilkenny?
I think Tip won it, you know.
Did they win it?
Yeah, I think they did. I'm not sure, but as far as I know,
did you see it?
Further analysis of the Munster final right after that.
I don't know, did you see it? Getting worried about
July in Thurles in 2009, as you can see from the crowds leaving, most of them are wearing blue and white jerseys because Waterford are the defeated side. Tipperary are the Munster Hurling champions of 2009 here at Semple Stadium this afternoon. They have beaten Waterford by 4 goals and 14 points to 2 goals and 16 points. The Waterford manager is Davy Fitzgerald. Let's hear from him.
Davy, what went wrong today?
Don't know, Joanne. I think about a 10 or 12 minute spell before half time absolutely killed us, right? I'd say of the 4 goals they got, I think 3 of them could have been prevented myself, that's being honest. But I'm not going to cast blame on this. The easiest thing we could have done then is fold up the tent and gone home. And I think we showed great character. My hats are off to the lads, but we have to have a look at how we conceded them goals. Maybe 2 of them I think were missed touches. 1 was caught that shouldn't have been caught. They're things you can't do against it, but you know what? We were still fighting and battling at the very end. To me, that's very important. In sport, you have to fight everything out to the end, and it's one thing we said after last year, no matter what, we were going to keep fighting, you know. And funny thing is, the Munster Championship is over, we're still there, we'll battle away and see what happens.
How are you going to look into that? Because they were vital, those goals, and as you say, it was missed touches really in the full-back line.
Yeah, I think there were errors. It's very hard when you get things like that. We were in control of the ball, 2 of them, I think. And there were bad concedes. But listen, hats off to Tip, they played well. That 10 or 12 minutes before half time, like, they absolutely spread us with their forwards going right up into our half backs, you know. We had said at the time we were going to follow them, you know. We didn't, we stayed half back and half went up and we didn't go any place really, you know. And that was the spell. Maybe if 1 or 2 of the lads had gone down injured and we tried to regroup, it might have stopped that onslaught, you know. That was the spell in the game that we were in trouble. The rest of it, we weren't. And I think we had 2 big chances at the start of the game. We could have been up there. We could have had 3 or 4 banged in there early, you know. That's the fact of it, you know.
There were a few missed chances from Waterford throughout the game, really, weren't there?
Yeah, we missed chances, you know, but at the same time I have to admire the way the lads were. We went down 11, 12 points. We battled back, and I think it was our tenacity more than anything else. We showed great fighting heart, and things went against us, but we stayed with it today, you know. And I'd be awful proud of the lads. I'd be very proud of the young lads that came in, you know. Brought on a few nice young lads there that did well in the heat of battle, and they weren't afraid to get stuck into it.
Certainly not. Now, you were I saw you on the sideline trying to pull your half forwards out further out to give more space to your full forward line, but they just didn't seem to be able to get the ball into them, and they were doing damage when they did.
Yeah, listen, we were doing damage at the very start of that game. We had the space, we had a game plan, and it kind of went a small bit. We went from it, you know. If we could have created the space, in my opinion, the holes were there to have a go, you know. But we didn't take the chances to start. They took their chances from mistakes by us, and fair play to them. Tipperary, they're worthy Munster champions, can't say nothing to them. Played some great hurling.
Waterford's still in it, of course. Thanks a lot, Davy. Hard luck today.
And that, of course, is David Fitzgerald, the Waterford manager. Cyril Farr, Gerlach and Tomas McCahey here with me in studio. Davy Fitz mentioned the goals they conceded before half-time. They were bad enough, but then they conceded another one to Lara Corbers in the second half, and that really was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it was the nail in the coffin, Michael, and we mentioned at half-time that kind of Waterford needed to come out and get a good start to the second half period, and they had their 4 or 5 opportunities to get scores. And here, look, we see a quick line ball.
In fact, Lara got a goal in the point.
Yeah, and this is the ball, the Clinton Hennessy coming away out for it. Misses it up, and look, great thinking by Lara Corbers. I mean, I was expecting maybe just a lob, but look, you can see on the line, the defender had gone back on the line, maybe go for goal, but he gets a great score. And again, look, this is a killer blow, realistically. I mean, this is the game that finishes as a contest. Seamus Callum again, good vision, half block, but it comes back. Look, and this ball should be cleared. I mean, this can't be resting around the defence like that. I mean, that's a mistake. I mean, your defender's job is you must clear your lines. When the ball gets in around the square there and around the parallel, you must get it out to the wings, no matter what happens. And look, a great finish by Lara Corbett, but that really kind of put the nail in the coffin for Waterford as far as they were concerned. And we will give credit to Waterford, as Cyril wants us to do. I mean, they did fight away. They made a few positional changes. The Brick Walsh centre back was absolutely brilliant. Declan Prendergast came out a bit to wing back as well again, and they were very good. But I still think up front, Cyril, they were relying on Milan too much. 1-5 from play. Owen Kelly got 1-6 or 1-7 from frees. It was all one-way traffic as regards up front.
The funny thing about it is, before the match, Ger, we had been worried about the Tip full back line. I suppose rightly enough so. But and again, going back to what Davey said, they're going to look at the 3 goals that Tip got in the first half, and 1 or 2 of them surely could have been cleared.
Oh, without a doubt, you know. It's a brilliant ball from Dark Corbett, though. You know, this is when Tip were at their very best, with that spread eagle, the whole Waterford defence. Canlon puts it straight. Great turn, and then down into the ground so that he won't be hooked. You know, they have great technique. Their forwards, for a young lad now, Canlon's still under the run. He has brilliant technique. Now he is straight again. Now the referee did very well here. He could have given it free. Gets to Owen Kelly. Now Kelly banged it into the net. Now you wonder, was Owen Kelly taken off because of precaution? He looked very good there. Was he taken off as a precaution, or was he? Did his back give way again? Because he was having a really good game. Now watch this for the catch from Dark Corbett. And not alone the catch. And I'm always coaching this to young lads. When you catch it, be on the move.
Yes.
Don't stop. Because when you stop, you give the defender a chance. He was turning and he was moving. Once he hit the ground, he was moving, and he was gone before Prendergast.
But we didn't see that urgency in Tip in the second half.
No, there was nothing like that in the second half. No.
As well as the goals in the first half, Sarah, we also saw some fantastic scores, some play from Tipperary as well. The 2 McGraths, Shane and Noel in particular.
Well, sure, Shane got a point as well as being the scorer of the year. Like this, he's going backwards. It's very hard to do this. I do this for a catch. But he loves this. He loves to drive forward. Now, favourite thing of his is to kick the ball, which I don't like. But here he goes right too. You think he's going to be hooked here. Moran is right behind him. But doesn't goes the wrong side, and it's a great score after her. Early on, you think it's going to be all points with him. Now that's as good as catch as good, because he drives forward, on the right or on the left. He's a good player, and he's going back into form. Now again, this comes from a puck out, or a free from Brendan Cummins down to the right corner. Watch this, drops down here. Now they have little flicks, deadly. Just a little turn. That's Noel McGrath. Economy of movement. He won't be running 30 or 40 yards, but he has the left or right, both sides. You have to look at, as Gerard says, coaching him for this, yet when he's left or right, just swings around on the right, bang it over there, and he's equally as good as his left.
3 points from play again from Noel McGrath today, you know, 5 the last day. We saw the captain, only 18 years of age. His Mike was only just out of minor. Fantastic
McGrath
talent.
Conor O'Mahony look like fellas to me who have too much done. That if they have 5 weeks to the semi-final, if Noel Sheehy said to him, take the next 2 weeks off completely and take a break.
They both of them, now Sweeney should say that both of them had mumps. They were in to say that goes through your system.
It needs rest. And they got no chance for rest.
I think they'll improve again. You could even see, I thought O'Mahony as he went on
he was a bit better today than he was other days.
He wanted to play well, and I think they'll improve.
David Fitz will have less time until Waterford's next game out. He'll be looking at some of those defensive things, but also we've clipped together a few shots of other things that Waterford did poorly enough today that he's also going to have a
well,
look
you see, right after half time, the 3 wides after half time were just terrible. You know, I suppose relying on Milan again. Some terrible wides that normally wouldn't have. Seamus wide, Malumphey an awful wide. And you know, only 4 points in the end. Like Aidan Carney, another wide, but Aidan Carney, in fairness, had a great game now, wing back in the second half. So you see, they had 6 or 7 wides. There's Milan again from a very easy position.
And he gets the ball control. But when you're behind that much, them scores kind of don't come for
and you have to look at it this way. You have to look at it this way. Waterford's big game this year is not to win the Munster Championship. They have 3 of those. Their big game is to get back into the All-Ireland again. By hook or by crook, whoever way they get there. Nothing that has happened today has dampened their chances of doing that. You know,
all the serious stuff only begins.
The serious stuff only begins with the next game, and the second half performance will really give them great encouragement.
We were asking there, by the way, about Owen Kelly. This is Tip's Owen Kelly, and what happened to him. We might be able to find out from the Tip manager, Liam Sheedy, because he's talking to Joanne now.
Well, Liam, I suppose that's the question I better lead off with. So the lads are just wondering about Owen Kelly. He went off at half time. What is the situation with him?
Yeah, he gave a tear in the hamstring, you know, and in the groin area. So, you know, he got up on the table and John Casey had a look, and, you know, in fairness to him, it was a very, very honest call. You know, he felt that, you know, he just couldn't give any more, and he said, Liam, no, sorry, can't do any more. It's time for someone else to come in. And, you know, that just tells you, that tells you the calibre of the guy. You know, it was a hard game to walk away from, and he made a big call for the team, and, you know, I suppose that sums up Owen Kelly for me.
And he was having a good game as well. What's the long-term situation looking like with the injury?
No, it should be fine. You know, we're probably looking at a week or two. It was only a slight tinge. It wasn't a strain, a full-blown strain. So, you know, we knew if he played on, there was definitely a chance he was going to pull it. So, you know, it was the right call.
Your celebration after the fourth goal went in was pretty emphatic. How important a win was that for Tipperary?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Munster finals, they're hard to get. I mean, we had a really tough route. We had to play Cork and Clare, and we really came in and we felt we were battle hardened, and how we needed to be today. I looked up at the scoreboard, and 9 points. You think you're away, and next thing they come roaring back at us again. And we were probably hanging on a little bit at the finish. But at the end of the day, a team like Waterford, you're not going to get on top of Waterford for 70 minutes. But some of our passages of play again today was very, very good. Lost the win or the finish, but again, just delighted with the win and great to be back in All Ireland semi-final. I mean, that was our goal.
What do you think the problem was? Why do you think, did you take the foot off the pedal? Is that what happened?
I did think we made a few basic mistakes, and I thought at times we had the ball and we didn't do the simple things. And when you start getting away from the simple things and you're trying to complicate it, that's when you leave yourself open. I just thought at times we just took the wrong option, and we paid a heavy price for it. But guys like Brick Walsh and Declan Prendergast, they really stood up there with 10-15 minutes to go, and they were just fielding ball after ball, and they were coming at us in droves. But likewise, our defence, Pádraig Maher just put his body on the line at one stage, vital block, and just delighted to be back in Croke Park for an Ireland semi-final.